Sweet.
You are live.
Are we live? Are we live from Rapid TCT 2023? I don't know, can you hear me, can you see me? Always gotta wait to make sure people can hear me and they can see me, because it wouldn't be a show without that. We've got producer David over here monitoring the comments. As soon as someone says that they can hear me or they can see me, we are good to go. David, where are we?
Nothing yet. Last comment is from Big Janet.
Okay, well, you know, it takes a while for the comments to come in. It's like a 20-minute delay. 20 seconds, sorry, 20-minute, that's a bit much. Yeah.
Say hi to me. Where are you at? Tell me. Oh, there we go. We get good.
Yeah, we got good?
Yeah, oh yeah, they're all coming in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Here we go.
All right. Oh yeah.
So we're good? We're good to go?
Yeah, Big Janet said, yeah, we're good to go.
Sweet. All right. Thanks, Big Chano. So listen, this is Show and Telling from Rapid TCT 2023, and we are going to be showcasing some amazing things. Like from the first guest to the last, it's going to be stuff that's going to blow your mind. And are we ready for guest one, David? Yes. Okay, good. My first guest is from EOS, and it's my buddy Dave. Dave, come up here.
Hey, Joel.
Hey, Dave. What are you holding there?
This is the Wilson airless prototype basketball.
May I?
Yeah, go ahead.
This-
Here it is. This is the real
This
deal.
is it.
Real deal.
This is the thing that you saw on the NBA All-Star game,
Yeah, dunk contest.
the dunk contest, not during the game, like not
Correct.
not yet.
Correct, not yet. Yeah, so dunk contest on Saturday night. KJ Martin successfully dunked the ball
saw
during
that.
his second dunk in the first round.
His dad gave it to him, right? They
Yeah,
kind of.
Yeah, so it was wheeled out. It was kept a very, very tight secret. There wasn't any PR around it before. Just kind of wheel it out there and sort of let everybody react to it as they are now. And then here at Rapid, we're kind of making it available to the public. You can come by our booth. You can dribble it. You can shoot it. You can try to dunk it. But
Has anybody successfully tried to get it up there?
well,
You're
successfully
taller
tried.
than me, so I mean,
Yeah.
have you got it up?
I have not. People, if someone does sort of dunk it, you'll probably hear it over there.
Oh
but-
yeah,
but
oh
no,
yeah,
it's
that'd be
awesome.
amazing. This is, it's really hard to describe this. And when I talked to Dave about this earlier, was that it's way cooler feeling it in person.
Yep.
Like being able to hold this additive part that was made by EOS and then dyed by Dimension.
Correct.
It's so crazy at how just perfect this feels.
Yep. What are you hearing?
There, you bounce it, bounce it. Look at that.
The
Look at
number
that.
one question we get was, does it bounce? It
I mean,
bounces.
we're on a stage, and so it's got a little bit of vibrato added to it when it
Yeah.
bounces. But I
So
mean,
one
it's a
thing you couldn't
concrete
tell
floor.
On the stage, what's really interesting with this is the noise difference in dribbling this airless basketball is very different. So if I had a normal basketball here, we couldn't even have this conversation.
It'd be a little loud,
noise,
yeah.
Right? We all remember sort of someone dribbling a basketball down the hallway of the high school.
Oh, yeah.
You can hear it throughout the
Tonk,
whole high school.
tonk, and then
This
it echoes
thing-
down the halls.
So this is what some of the features that, again, you can't really experience through a video or through a picture. But what's also really neat, what I've been able to do is experience people's first reaction to it. Is it's more than just a part, it's an experience which is really unique. So that's something Wilson has done an incredible job, I think, with their innovation team and thinking about, and I mean, these are things they know is their brand, but you're not just creating an object, you're creating an experience. I mean, anyone who gets this, they want a picture with it, they want a video with it, they immediately want to send it to their family.
I've
And
taken
so-
a few selfies already.
Yeah, I think that's what's really unique is it's a feel-good story, and what's really cool is almost everyone's dribbled a basketball in their life, so it's also fun to watch is everyone's their own critic. Right?
Oh,
Everybody
yeah.
has their own evaluation of, well, how does it feel? Is it light? Is it this? And I mean, this ball is the same mass, the same shape, the same rebound, et cetera. It goes through the full suite of testing by the Wilson team. This thing wouldn't have been on the court if it didn't pass all that testing.
That makes a lot of sense. And we're taking something that's classic. Like a basketball has been around for what,
Hundreds.
100 years,
I think
hundreds
so,
of
yeah.
years. I mean, the processes in which make it are also classic and honored. But to be able to have an additive part that approaches even closely the feel and that experience that you talk about
Yep.
is amazing. And it's not just coming close. Like this is
spot on.
super fun. Oh,
Yeah.
I wish everybody could be here. I wish
mean-
everybody was at the show and could try to dunk
So I
this.
mean, that's why it took several years. This was not just a first try. I mean, it's quite challenging to print a perfectly spherical ball that performs in every orientation the same way. Even think about adding different features, logos, mass distribution, right? Suddenly someone wants to add a logo somewhere. Well, in a traditional process, there's just kind of
You
kind
stamp
of
it on the leather and it's good, or whatever.
Right. This is actually changing mass sort of distribution. Also, kind of think about from a mechanical performance. So, I mean, if you think about this part of the ball where all the striping and sort of logos are versus just a panel, it's a very different kind of mechanical structure.
Yeah.
So the rebound of that is different. And so, in some ways, the General Lattice team and the Wilson team did an excellent job of making this look incredibly refined and simple, but there's an incredible amount of engineering and algorithm design behind this lattice that unfortunately the average person can't appreciate unless you really get in there or you really understand computational design. So those are things that I just want to highlight and acknowledge to the full team, all the kind of collaborators from General Lattice on the software side, us, Dimension, and then the whole basically workflow to get this thing refined, even leading up to it, the weeks before, was just a lot of late nights and a lot of refinement such that it was ready to go.
So then, if we're talking about that sort of thing, Wilson is the one that did the design,
Yes.
and then worked with, I would imagine, you guys at EOS to refine it for additive.
So I'd say that it was Wilson and General Lattice. So they worked together on the
General
design
Lattice,
you
you
see.
keep saying
Correct.
this. General Lattice, is that a company?
General Lattice, yes, they're a software company. They're here at Rapid.
Oh,
I think
sweet.
it's the first year they have a booth. They're a Chicago-based software computational design company. So Wilson worked with them. So General Lattice helped bring this design to life computationally.
Oh, I see. So the computers and all the number crunching for the
correct.
proper design was General Lattice.
So it's Wilson's design, concept, and idea. General Lattice brought it to life in a design file perspective. We then brought it to life in a printable file. Dimension brings the color and the finish, so you can see kind of how the whole team is needed. And from our perspective, it was on us to give feedback on certain features or things to make it more sort of printable, or features such as some of the logos and stuff here, recommendations around how far that should stand off, and through several print sort of iterations, we finally got it right. Kudos to our engineering team. A lot of laser parameter engineering went into this, again, to make something.
Well, just pathing the laser for having to cure the material.
I mean, I don't know what the number of struts, they're hundreds and thousands, and then just, again, I think what we did was great, but we made it look so good and so simple that at first you don't realize how much engineering went into it, but when you get to dribble it and see it up close, I still just look at it and you're just sort of speechless.
Talking about the engineering for something like this, you go through these computational formulas and engineering to make it where you think it'll bounce. Simulations where it'll bounce and stuff. But the real test is giving it to like a basketball player and having them actually, he or
feedback.
she bouncing it and just kind of, it doesn't feel right. And so it's very difficult, I would imagine, to take feedback like that and then apply the math to it to slightly change it.
So the interesting thing from the Wilson team feedback is when they handed athletes an NBA ball of the same weight as a 3D printed ball, they perceived this ball to be lighter. So there's a perception feature that.
Is it because you can see through it?
I don't know. It's just one of these things where you perceive. What's funny is when you give people the ball, some people perceive it to be heavier, some people perceive it to be lighter.
Yeah.
It's so
Do you
different.
guys think this looks lighter? I'm actually curious.
Yeah.
I mean, they're looking at it. They can't feel it. So what's your perception?
Yeah. One other thing I think that's really neat to highlight is this is one material printed on one piece of hardware.
Can you say which material?
We cannot.
Okay.
It's a confidential material. We're still kind of respecting Wilson's request to keep that quiet
That's
at
fair.
the moment.
That's fair.
Yeah. But if you think about it, a traditional basketball, 10 plus components procured around the globe, multiple areas where it's traditionally manufactured, like you said, where they take a lot of pride, and they've had a lot of years to get that really down to a good science and economically feasible. Now, here's a basketball made by one material on one piece of hardware that you can make locally, and so the sustainability opportunity there is very intriguing for Wilson, where the supply chain's a problem for everybody, and the cost, we certainly got to bring costs down.
Sure.
That's certainly like any additive story, right? Is the initial prototyping. This is why it's a prototype.
Can I ask how much the prototypes are?
I don't know what that's going to
Okay,
be. So
it's enough to where you don't know.
correct. I mean, we have estimates for what the internal cost would be, but The goal is to bring this to market. Wilson has shared that they want to try to make this available to the public in 2024.
Really?
You know, what exactly...
To compete with the price and economics of a classic basketball?
No. Just to simply, this is not just a marketing stunt. They want to make,
Okay.
they want to...
I'm glad you said that, because
Correct.
it could be.
The initial launch is going to be a small number, but it's basically to prove that this is not just a one and done marketing poof. There it is. The goal is, can we roll this out as a production product? It's up to the Wilson team now to figure out where and what angles do they want to take this, right?
Yeah.
You can customize it just like we were talking about earlier. You want to personalize the different things. I mean, there's different opportunities. We're here just to support whatever Wilson wants to do.
Well, and to kind of let more people see it, right? Because
Yeah, and
oh, we got a bird. Okay, so I would talk about this forever,
Yeah,
Dave,
no,
but I'm
no.
told we got other stuff, and so
yeah, so there's one other object that I want to bring up here that is equally just as cool.
look at this.
This is a drone bird.
Wait, so okay, when I think of a drone, I think of 4 propellers and it going.
Correct. So this is,
Yeah.
so I'm going to have, we're going to flap the wings just softly here.
Okay.
So there's the tail that's moving, if you
the
can
tail
see the
feathers.
tail.
Shake your tail feathers. Okay.
And then, so this can...
Good job.
So this can reach speeds of 45 miles an hour, up to heights of, I think, about 50 meters or so. Do you want to flap the wings? Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah. So this is...
This is a fully functional bird.
Yes, so this actually appeared in a movie, a French movie.
Okay.
It's Crimes Parfait, if I'm saying that correctly.
Crimes Parfait.
Yeah, but...
Crimes Parfait.
And if you can turn it off, thank you. So what I want to make sure
May I hold it?
the audience understands, yep, is it's the body of the drone bird.
Okay.
It's not the wings and the tail. It's the body, which is 3D printed.
Can you say what material this is made
Yes.
from?
So this is a, it's an ALM material called PA640 GSL. What does that mean? That's a nylon 12
Okay.
with additives of carbon fiber and hollow glass beads. So it really...
Oh,
it,
glass beads and carbon fiber.
Correct. So
Oh.
it's incredibly lightweight and durable and buoyant. So when this thing eventually runs out of battery in midair and lands in the water, it floats, right?
Okay, that's handy.
Yeah. And it's going to crash also. So it basically, this has crashed before.
It's not if, but when.
When, right? And so it can stand up to that.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm poking you
The
with the-
reason why you see this is a little bit beat up is this is one that appeared in the movie itself. This is the one.
This flew in the movie.
Yeah, so that's why it's kind of beat up. Back to the
you okay?
material. So partnering with our ALM team, was printed on a P396 system.
Okay.
With one of our manufacturing contract partners in the Netherlands called Parts on Demand.
Parts on demand. Okay.
Yeah. So I did not personally work on this project, but basically the drone bird company was using additive initially as a prototyping opportunity to identify ways to improve the body. And then they saw a lot of opportunity with part consolidation, a lot of things that we traditionally associate with additive. And through ALM, they were able to identify a material that outperformed their existing material, and economically it became much more viable. So now it's actually the end use. So it was originally a prototyping opportunity, and then through the material and just what additive can bring from an economics, it's now the end use solution. And now the drone bird company is exploring, other products that they can push this into. Kind of a classic example of learning about additive, seeing it as prototyping, and then actually finding what that end-use solution is.
That's really cool. So when we think of additive, we think of it as prototyping, just like you said. But to be able to not just come in economically better with additive, it performs better than the classic piece, and there are less parts to worry.
Correct.
That's perfect. This is the perfect use case for additive.
Yeah, and what's cool, so this is a very somewhat humanitarian solution also. So this is meant to keep birds out of sort of airport areas. I guess there are crashes between planes and that, so it's kind of preserving that. And then from an agriculture perspective, to keep away birds and other sort of animals that are interfering with that. So it's a really nice way to deter those sort of animals from being in those areas. And when you see this thing fly, we have a video going on it, but
Oh, I
like,
was gonna say, do we get to launch it?
it would be amazing to launch it in here. I don't think we got clearance for that. But I mean, it flies incredibly realistically, which is why it works so well, which is why it deters animals and other birds, because
Sure.
they think this is an actual falcon.
Well, this is just the evolution of essentially the scarecrow. You know, you have the
Sure.
the very static thing in the field meant to scare things away.
Correct.
Now there's an economically better way to do it, more sustainable,
Yep.
less parts, it works better. Like that's just, it seems to be that's a general story that we're finding within this
Yeah.
industrial world of additive. It's that we're taking things that are classically done one way
Yep.
and just upending it a little bit, and it might cost less, it might perform better, it might do both.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of on additive to push those boundaries, whether it's from a printing technology perspective, the material offering, and from a design, like we talked about with the sort of basketball. You need all three to kind of hold hands and make that leap forward, and then whichever one needs to kind of make the next leap, as soon as they do, then you usually see this new flood of applications come through.
Oh yeah. Can we flap the wings one more time? Okay,
Hold it, so you want to hold by the beak.
okay, beak. And not the back?
So I'm going to have you hold it, put your thumbs here and this
Okay.
here. I would hold on to it with both hands,
Okay.
just in case.
Okay. There we go. I got this.
Yeah. So
there we go. Look at that. Look
this-
at that.
This has flown for up to an hour.
Seriously.
Yeah.
When you think of typical drones, like the ones I talked about with the 4 rotors, you know, 8-minute battery life, 11-minute battery life. So this is like an optimized glider, right? Or does
Yeah, I mean, I think like what it is, it's like kind of it's biomimicry in its true form, right?
I can't. We can't fly. Wait, which camera? Okay, I'm on there. Yeah. Okay. We can't not.
Do we have a video, or I mean, I would say you can go.
Wait. Okay. There's a video. Is there anything online people can go to see this?
Yes, so go to the ALM website and you can download materials.com and see a video.
Yeah, so go to the ALM website,
So
the Advanced Laser Materials website,
that's a lot
and
of
then they have
steps.
this case
How about
study.
this? How about this? I'm going to visit the EOS booth later, and I will tweet a
Yeah,
video.
for sure.
How about that?
Yeah.
How about that? Okay. So that's coming later. See, that way I have to stop
Or-
by and shoot the basketball.
Or you can fly it, and then our Rapid's done. I'm sure we'll be chased out of here. So that's the other option. Too.
That's right. That's right. Thursday night at like 4:59
Yeah.
p.m. Let it set free. Oh my gosh. Well, this is fun. Dave, how much do you? What?
Sorry, questions. We have a little extra
Oh,
time.
yes, we do.
A couple of people are asking about weight.
Okay. Someone asked about weight. So
The weight of this specific. I don't know what the weight of this specific. Yeah, I don't know what the weight of this specific item is. We do have the case study around this on the same ALM website, so I'd have to refer back to that to know. I know that it is lighter weight, but I don't know what the exact mass is.
it is lighter weight, but it feels. What's really interesting with the material that you printed it with the carbon fiber and the glass beads.
Yeah.
You really get that feeling that it's lightweight, but it's durable.
Yeah, so
Like if
that-
someone were to
Correct.
like if it crashes, this is going to survive that crash.
Yeah, so
I won't drop it. I promise.
The nylon 12 PA12.
Can I drop it?
Base one, sort of wasn't enough, and yeah, so being able, this is what's really key for sort of EOS working closely with sort of ALM is as a material provider, being able to engineer custom solutions, make them ready for our systems, as we can come in now and have a more optimal sort of material solution in this application space and unlock this now for our customer.
So then this is like you said, it's a PA12
Base, yep.
base with added carbon fiber and glass beads. So when
Yep.
we talk about the consumer side, there isn't really optimal SLS style solutions for consumer, and we're talking about powder beds, right?
Yep.
Still? Okay.
Powder bed, yep.
But could you envision something like this being made via low-cost machines? Like, do you see a future in this style of drone coming to the consumer segment?
I mean, I'm not a drone expert.
No,
so,
well, me neither.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that's clear.
But I think what it's doing is it's demonstrating a suitable material to explore for that space. Because I mean, talk about lightweighting being the penultimate solution there. I think what it's doing is it's demonstrating that there's feasible technology. It's something you can go and research, and as soon as the supply chain or kind of thing is set up around it, I think it's certainly something to explore, and I'm sure there's even ways to further optimize this.
Oh, sure.
You know, but yeah, I mean, the small amount that I know about the drone business, that's
well, when you think about it, if we think about a DJI drone, usually they weigh very little. Sometimes
Yep.
they're super tiny, and they have a lot of power really quickly.
Yep.
And so if you can make the drone larger, such as this, but
Sure.
keep the weight profile
Sure.
low, and then rather than having these props, you have wings, like actual wings that
I know
carry
that
it.
there are versions of this bird where, so these are more planar or static wings, or they actually have wings that do flap. So it's like I don't know what the right word is, but basically it's sections in it. So like that's kind of a product progression. You can imagine if you start to break down these components, how could you optimize each of the components? But just in terms of, I know that they're coming out or innovating on a design like that even enhances what that drone bird feature is.
So for this drone bird, you said the wings are not additive, right?
Correct, they're not.
But-
These are actually hand painted. So I also
Really?
learned that the current designs, it's smaller production right now. These are all hand painted by a Dutch artist who has a really good touch for
I
making
saw
things look
there's
natural.
actually feet. Look at that.
Yeah.
They're painted on feet.
Yeah. So you could imagine maybe a solution of being able to print this, have sort of a water-based screen printing solution on top of that, kind of dipping process, and all of a sudden you're starting to produce something or have it be an opportunity to be much more scalable.
It looks like cork. We're good. Is this cork?
I think it's just styrofoam at the moment.
Oh, it is. Okay.
So
it's like a polystyrene.
Yeah, it's a polystyrene, correct.
I just got this, which means our time is
up.
unfortunately up. But we got to tell them about the sweet basketball.
Yep.
And we got to show them this awesome drone bird. And no, we don't get to fly it, but I'll go to the booth and find the video and tweet that out later, because that will happen. Dave, this has been fun, man.
Yeah, this is great. Thank you.
Good to meet you, man. I'm really happy you brought this bite. Well, here, I will give you that. And I know you got a lot of other stuff to do at the US booth, and I'll come see you later, and perhaps we'll get video of you dunking the ball.
Or you.
I mean, we'll see. You'll lift, right?
Yeah.
You'll do one of those.
Thank you, Joel.
Yeah, man. Hey,
it's been great.
Have a good rest of Rapid.
You too.
All right. Well, that was interesting. Can I have the ball one more time?
It was fun.
Yeah, Jenna, he wants the ball. Can you just
Can I have
flip
the
it
ball
up?
one more time?
There you go.
Yes.
Put it in
Okay,
my
I just
somewhere,
want to.
sir.
There's only a
Thank you
few
so
of these
much.
in the
Hey,
world,
well,
and I get to hold this.
All right. Let's put this in your pocket here
I like
in
it
the
so
front.
much. Okay.
Or in the back.
Oh,
It's comfortable
ready?
for you. I'm not going to do anything fancy with the mic.
There
so
we
we're
go.
just gonna slap it on.
There we go. Well, this is an amazing start to the show. With show and telling,
It
the
is
goal is
fun.
to always showcase things that there's a good chance you don't know about, or you haven't seen, or you haven't
Only
heard
like
about,
3 tennis balls.
something like
Same
that.
here.
Like the basketball's cool. I get
These
that.
like,
Are you all set? That
I'm
drone
set.
bird.
Yeah.
Great.
Should I?
Printed them and everything. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm just telling them how awesome everything is.
Can I hold it? Oh my gosh,
Said what? What? Okay.
Trail features.
Good, how are you?
Oh, trail
Tell us
features.
what
I love that, dude. Thank you for that. Did you get the mic, David?
Yeah, he's all set, ready to
Flying
go when you're
around
ready.
you.
Oh yeah. What do we got?
So this is not Jasmine. Jasmine lost her voice.
Oh no!
Up on.
Oh, come on. Well, hey, bring this up. So it's Nexa 3. What's your name?
Louis Sims with Nexa
Louis?
3D. Yes.
I'm Joel. Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And this, oh, look at
You
this.
might recognize the geometry.
I might. I just might. So if you remember, not that long ago, we did a live broadcast and I showcased the Nexa Zip printing stacks of mini Joels really fast. Really, really fast. And I think at the end of the day, we calculated the time per mini Joel at being like 12 minutes or something. It was absurd. Now, and if you've been paying attention to things, Nexa 3D announced the Zip Pro.
Yes, we did.
Tell me about that, because I have a lot of experience with the Zip itself, but the Zip Pro looks to have taken that and just embiggened it. Is that correct?
Bigger and better.
Okay.
So, the Zip is very much a desktop printer that's powered by our industrial strength technology. What
Right.
we did is we took everything we loved about the Zip and have said, how can we apply this and scale this up to an industrial level? And so that's how we ended up with the Zip Pro. So not only does it look very sleek in form factor like the Zip, but it's also going to have just as good a power, actually better. We're going from a 3.5 milliwatt to a 5.5 milliwatt light engine.
Really?
Absolutely. And we are jumping from 4K to 7K.
I saw that. I saw that. That's amazing.
And we did that for two reasons, and that's to obviously help speed up the process. We love ultra-fast printing, but we love making it even faster more. And so you're looking at even faster printing. This entire build here was done in just under 13 hours. This is 80 parts. I think you were shooting for 32 on the Zip.
We ended up with, it wasn't 32, right? I believe it was like 24 or something.
Yeah,
I think it was 24.
24, and then we have 80 here.
80?
And this is the full-size Mini Joel.
Yeah, these aren't shrunk down.
Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
one of the things that I really love about the Zip Pro that was featured is that we now have this machine at a 400 millimeter Z or Z.
Yeah, at 410,
Which is amazing. Anytime you can take a Resin 3D printer and approach 400, it's great. If you can exceed it even a little bit, it's sort of in its own ballpark because not a lot of Resin machines are there.
So you've got an incredible XY here. So you've got 163 by about 292 and the 410 in the Z. So incredible build volume, has about 4 times the throughput of other industrial printers on the market because of both the speed and the build volume size that you see there. So doing a lots of smaller parts like you see with Mini Joel or some really large parts as well.
Wow. Well, when we talk about speed and ultra-fast resin-based 3D printing, a lot of times when we talk to other manufacturers, the speed decreases the detail.
Yeah.
I've heard that from other manufacturers that are trying to go faster, but what I proved on my live broadcast was the detail was there. Even though we had 11 minutes per part at the end of the day because of math, we still had that detail. Now, is that a function of the ultra-fast resins that Nexa uses, or is that because of the light engine or the LSPC, or what contributes to the Zip and Zip Pro being able to go ultra-fast but keep the detail?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's going to be a combination of our light engine, our monochromatic LCDs with very high resolution and detail at the 4K and 7K, as well as the materials that we're choosing. Historically, just as you said, if you wanted to print fast, you had to give up accuracy and part detail.
Mm-hmm.
And if you wanted accuracy and part detail, you had to sacrifice speed.
Mm-hmm.
So with Zip Pro, I like to sum it up really quickly, and I say it's printing without compromise. So
Sounds like a tagline.
you get to print really fast and get what I would consider injection mold quality components out of this printer. So your layer heights can go down to 25 microns. Your XY resolution, which is driven by our pixels, is down to 46 microns. With anti-aliasing, you're getting down to about 23 micron subpixel resolution.
Okay.
So really fine detail and accuracy here in the parts.
I like that you said injection molding level of print quality, because I'm looking at that. These are the full-size Mini Joel. I'm very familiar with the model, and even at you said it was a 0.025 layer height,
That's
correct?
as low as it goes. This is actually at 100 microns. So
This is 100 micron?
Yes.
This looks great for 100 micron.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the deal's there. You can always tell, because on the Mini Joel, I've got my slow eye, my slow curves, my slow eyeball, and my little smile to the side.
Yeah, so if you look at the slow curves here, you can see normally that would be really heavy layer lines with the fine detail and resolution. Even at the 100 microns, it's coming out incredibly smooth.
It's really there. And what I like about this is that manufacturers that have Nexa hardware, like the big machines, it's really easy to integrate the Zip and the Zip Pro into their workflow because they take the same materials and they take the same material container. It works out.
Absolutely.
It works out. But then, because the Zip Pro now exists, because I remember originally there was talk of having a Zip where engineers could kind of prototype and play with the same materials that their jobs were going to be with on the bigger machines, and then once they got it where they wanted it, they could then send it to the big machines, and they weren't taking big machine time away by doing prototyping.
Exactly.
But this is almost like this is a big machine. Like this is a production machine.
That is our intent, absolutely. You can do some incredible prototyping with this, especially in large format. But we really honed in on leveraging the speed, the detail, and the resolution specifically for production. if you want to match higher volume production, and particularly into the consumer product space, you've got to start matching the quality and the output.
Makes sense. For something like this is the ultra-fast resin, right? I've printed this. This is the same gray, I believe, I printed with on the Zip,
Yes,
yes?
it's not our fastest resin, but it is one of our fastest. So this is our X Model 15. So this entire build volume printed in about 13 hours with that resin. Our fastest resin is actually going to be our X Ceramic 3280, so it's got a ceramic fill.
Ceramics are fast?
This particular one is quite
I had
fast.
no idea.
So you can do the entire build volume in just under 2 hours.
What?
Just under 2 hours,
Wait a minute. What?
That's going to be at 200 microns, so you are getting a little bit up there. If you go to 100 microns, you're looking at...
But if you're prototyping, I mean...
Exactly.
Like to be able to... That's what's really cool. If we talk about a resin part that's needed, that's 385 millimeters in Z or Z, then usually you're like, oh, I'll set this to print, I'll be back the next day.
Yes.
Or it'll be maybe done the end of the next day. There are faster machines that will do it a little bit quicker, but 2 hours?
2 hours.
All right, I'm gonna have to play with that a little bit.
I think we can make that happen, Joel.
So when we talk about the resins that Nexa offers for the Zip, it's the full catalog, correct?
So we are rapidly adding to this. So right now we're at 19 resins, and our goal is within the next probably 2 months to have our full portfolio fully validated for this. So we're moving pretty quickly. Resins coming out with validated settings every week or 2 weeks for this printer.
What does a validation take?
So it goes to our entire materials development team. These are the people who optimize the printing parameters for all of our validated resins, and we'll validate that, ensure that there's proper settings, and optimizing those settings for detail, accuracy, and of course, that speed that we love.
So these are the people that are going through and making test parts and verifying settings for these test parts, and then those become quote-unquote validated settings.
Exactly. Then we send it to our next factory, which is what we use for all of our benchmarking and samples as well as production.
Is that in-house?
That's in-house.
Okay.
And then they test those settings kind of as a secondary check to say, all right, you came up with this in your perfect lab environment. What does this look like in the real world? And they go and test and they validate. So just double checking our own work there. And then those are the settings that we release to all of our users.
It's called the Next
Factory.
Next Factory, and it's in-house.
It's in-house.
This is the first I've heard about this. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the Next Factory, gosh, we have over 30 printers probably just in that one area. And so we go through benchmarking requests, sample requests, new material verification from the settings that are passed down from the materials development team. And they do all of that in-house.
So if someone goes online and requests a part, it comes from the Next Factory.
Exactly, we build it ourselves.
Oh, okay. Well, that's kind of interesting. So it's an analog for a print farm,
yes,
but an in-house print farm to take care of in-house needs.
Yes, and it's staffed by an incredible team of applications engineers. So you're dealing with people who are highly technically competent, understand both prototyping and production requirement needs, and they can even help optimize the print process specifically for your application as well.
Wow. Oh, man. Well, you've been at Nexa a while. You've printed lots of things, right?
Printed lots of things, yeah.
What's your favorite resin that Nexa uses and why?
Actually, I think we have a good example for you. If I can call my good friend Greg over.
Greg!
Greg's going to demo some juggling skills for you. So that'll just happen here in the background. But he is juggling with clubs that were built out of our PP405. So everyone thinks that resin printing can't be durable. XPP405 proves that wrong. So you can drip it, you can bang it.
May I?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, it feels durable.
So
like if you were going to hit me, like it would hurt.
I promise not to do that this time.
Oh, but it's hollow.
It's hollow all the way through.
It's really hollow, obviously, but it's hollow. Ooh.
I know how to juggle.
Ooh. Okay, wait. So here, hold that.
I won't do
full.
Let me see these. Now check this out. So these are. We only got one mic. You're gonna have to yell into his chest.
Yes.
I will do that.
There. This is same material.
Same material.
But this is dyed.
Painted.
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 Did you paint it?
I did.
Okay.
That good old Nexa blue.
Well, and it looks like it's coated with a
A clear
gloss.
coat. Yep.
Okay.
I want to be nice and shiny.
Okay. Oh man, I used to juggle pins, and it was
Did
a lot
you
of.
really?
I did. But I want to see you do it. I
Okay.
really want to
You
see
got
this.
it.
So
You
these
got
are 3D printed juggling pins.
Yep. Can't drop it on TV.
Don't drop it. Do it.
Yay. See? There you go.
Jeez. Look at that. Look at that.
There we go. There we
Okay,
go.
can I try?
Yeah, go ahead and try.
Okay, I'm gonna try.
Hey, best case scenario is you can drop one and show how durable it is.
Well, here I've got here. Hold those two, because I've
Okay.
always learned, because it's right. It's
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
and this,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
All right, here we
Jeez.
go.
Okay.
He does know.
Okay.
I'm getting
Let's
all
just
the-
try. Let's just try it. Let's just go full set. Come on, come on.
All right.
Oh, I got a couple. I got a couple.
You got a couple
I got a
in.
couple.
Amazing. There we go. That's what we got.
I tried. I really tried.
I think you demoed perfectly.
Well, that was cool. I actually dropped it on the concrete floor,
Yeah.
and it didn't break. That's amazing.
So that
dude.
is why it's
Almost as good as the chess match.
almost as good.
I think I did better there than I did at the chess match. I'm not gonna lie to you. Wow.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite materials. I think the durability coming out of that proves that resin printing is here for production.
So what is this material again called?
XPP 405.
XPP 405.
Meant to mimic polypropylene.
Oh, I see. XPP for polypropylene.
Yes.
And 405, is that 405 nanometer or 405?
405 is just the indicator for the formulation.
Oh, I see. Oh, I
Yes.
see. That's a formulation number. Okay.
Correct, yes.
So to mimic, and polypropylene historically is a resilient material,
Absolutely.
very functional material. People making like live hinges and stuff with
Yeah.
polypropylene, but now we're making live juggling pins.
Absolutely.
And apparently I'm terrible. I got to work on my juggling. I'm really sorry.
I think you did great. Yeah, fun fact, my dad, so growing up my entire life, my dad works at a polypropylene manufacturing plant.
no.
So I've grown up with this plastic like my entire life. I've worked there before while I was in college, and now here I am 3D printing
So wait a minute,
with
wait a minute.
polypropylene simulation.
Your dad
Yeah.
historically has worked with this material.
With
And
polypropylene,
now
yeah.
you have a resin printing analog of the material. Like, have you taken it to him?
Oh, he's obsessed with 3D printing. I usually try to hide parts in his birthday gifts and Christmas gifts and all of that stuff. He's super proud. He's
For
thrilled
some
about
reason, I
it.
thought you were going to say his birthday cake, and I was like, that seems mean. Put
that might be mean.
might
Yeah,
be
that'll
good.
hurt.
Oh, this is cool. I love that. I love the options that we have, and I love that the materials are progressing on the resin side, because now that we have speed and we have these resins that can perform really well, it's the best of all worlds.
Yeah.
Because when we talk about print farms, a lot of times historically, if I say print farm, it's someone with a number of FFF machines printing melting polymers into a shape and then bagging and printing them. And it's not a lot of times that print farms also have a resin component.
Yes.
Historically.
Yeah.
Historically. I know that there are professional houses that have lots of Nexa machines that do lots of printing,
That they do.
but it's not something that we talk about on the consumer print farm side. There's a, let's see, Spectra 3D. Are you familiar with them?
Spectra 3D actually has a zip, and
Right.
they do some incredible parts.
So Spectra
with that.
3D, originally they were called Itchy Pig Creations. Way back in the day, like the Midwest Rep Festival 2016, 2017, Spectra 3D was what was born of Itchy Pig. And I've got friends that work there,
Okay.
and once they saw the zip that I showed it off, they went and got one, and they say it's used 24/7, like it's just printing non-stop.
They
Is that
love
what
it.
you hear from most customers?
Absolutely. It's incredible what you can do, even with the zip desktop printer, because of its speed and the parts that you can put out of it. You can set it, forget it, go, and you're going through multiple iterations a day typically with those parts. It's a reliable printer, which I think really matters for print farms and service bureaus. And then the material versatility. So all of our platforms are open source. We've got over 30 materials that are validated and growing rapidly. But even if one of those don't meet your needs, you can choose a resin of your own and use it in our printers.
Well, it's been recent that I've heard from material manufacturers that are asking for me to showcase their materials on the zip, because I have a zip, and they're
I would
like, we're
love that.
making materials for the zip. And so it's really cool to see people adopting that platform and getting materials validated, because when we talk about a professional workflow, a lot of times certain materials have to pass certain tests,
Yes.
and you don't want to be there experimenting on the production floor. You want it to be a known good thing
Exactly.
that's used. And it's exciting to see, because we're going to have a lot. We're going to have a lot more resin 3D printing coming up.
Absolutely. Materials unlock applications. We understand that, so we're really excited to partner with the best in the business. We have several material development partners, and also to see what others are coming up with. You know, we've got a great example of a soy-based resin in our booth
Really?
as well. It's totally dissolvable, used for injection molding, and then the tool dissolved afterwards, but it's soy-based, using for a consumer product. So we have that out there. We have
That's
people
really
dying.
cool.
We have a custom dyed resin as well. So someone said, I love this XPP405, our clear version, but they needed it in red. So she was able to add dye in and color it red. So we've got people experimenting far and wide with what you can do with this printer because of its accessibility and open platform.
That's cool, man. Well, I'm really looking forward to coming by the booth. I'm really happy you brought this by. I know our time is up, but I just wanted to look at and adore this stack of mini Joels, full-size mini Joels.
Full size.
Let's see, let's see, no. Can I pass it to you?
Murder weapon.
Hey, there we go. Well, I want to thank you for coming on and showing me this.
Yes,
and
thank you.
I'm going to come by the booth and get a selfie with this later.
Absolutely.
that's
The
all
mini
right.
gels will be waiting for you.
Yeah, Nexa 3D, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good job, Louis.
This is fun. Good job, Lewis. Look at that.
Hold on one second. I don't know what the mute button is, but I'm just turning the volume all the way down.
That's the way to do it. Look at that. Look at that. It's live here. Anything happens. Look at that. There's just, look at this show. Look at this show behind me. People everywhere seeing really cool stuff. And if you hold a minute, one of the things that I'm very on top of is staying hydrated. And so if you have a beverage next to you, I implore you to take a sip for hydration. Prost.
Julie, you want to say hi to the audience real quick?
I've been saying hi to the audience. We just took a drink of liquids together. We're staying hydrated.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're staying hydrated.
Nice.
Man, how y'all doing?
Like and subscribe.
Sure, like and subscribe. Do it. This is live. This is live from the Rapid show. And what time is it? It's 20 to noon. And we're going till 2 o'clock Central, which means if you're in Chicago, you can get down here, you can run towards the back, and then come down the hallway and jump and scream behind me. You still have time to do that.
Ready?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Let's.
Oh my gosh.
I got a windshield for you.
You know what? I needed a new one, so this is great. Oh, sure, just,
We actually put it right in front of you guys. No.
sure.
Oh, that would be a little difficult.
We'll just be in the car.
Here's bases to put it on.
Okay.
Let's see if this will work. I'm not sure.
Take your time with it. Have some fun. You can bring it as much.
We'll have to go this way, I think, with it.
So wait, you got a mic on, you're good. So
I got a mic on.
how do I say your name?
Fadi.
Oh, is it not on yet?
Nope.
Okay, this is Fadi from Stratasys.
How you
Go ahead and
doing?
give David an audio test there.
Let's test it. Can you hear me?
Wonderful.
Aw.
Wonderful. First time.
This is Fadi from Stratasys, and there's a windshield on the floor. Why is there a
There's a
windshield on the floor?
Let me at least highlight the part that's important here. Besides the windshield,
Okay.
you have a 3D
Okay,
printed.
well, here.
You have a 3D printed duct right here. This duct.
Is this like a rally car windshield or something?
This is a NASCAR windshield.
NASCAR. Okay, NASCAR.
And you're holding the windshield from the winning car in the Bristol race, signed by the driver. And this thing keeps the driver cool.
Oh.
So we 3D
I
printed
see.
an attachment to their existing windshield that allowed them to keep the driver.
Well, here we can bring it up. Come on.
Sure, I'm happy. I don't wanna, yeah.
No, let's see. Can you see me on the wide there, Dustin? Yeah, see, look at that. We should have this up. Big
Yeah,
stuff.
I
Big
agree.
stuff deserves to be seen.
Thank you.
So then,
So
why?
so-
So what is Stratasys?
Stratasys.
How does Stratasys
Yeah.
become involved with 3D printing a duct for a NASCAR windshield?
So we are a NASCAR competition partner, which means if you're not familiar with NASCAR,
They go around
specs, they go in a circle.
They go in a circle.
And they spec all the parts for all the teams.
Oh,
it's
so-
not like
oh.
each individual team gets to come up with their own
Oh,
NASCAR
I see.
piece.
So NASCAR says for your duct, this is the spec you need.
And as a competition partner, all 3D printed parts on NASCAR vehicles are printed by Stratasys and Stratasys Direct.
Really?
All the parts. We are the
Hey,
supplier.
congratulations.
Thank
Let's see,
you.
can I reach
Thank
you?
you.
Yeah.
And so, what does the duct do? The duct keeps the driver cool. These guys are in the car in this very hot cockpit, no air conditioning in a NASCAR car,
Oh
unfortunately.
yeah, that would take away the horsepower, wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
exactly, and the weight. And so they installed this windshield. This thing gets screwed and glued to all the windshields. It's made with our SAF product, SAF product. It's a powder technology.
Okay. Can you go more into it, or
I
is
can
it?
absolutely.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah. Let's get geeky, man.
It's what some people would call powder bed fusion or high-speed sintering. Essentially, it's a powder-based technology that can print at incredible speeds.
So a laser going like
Not a
that.
laser.
Not a laser.
Slightly different. Yep.
Ooh.
So it actually releases a fluid on top of the surface, and then the fluid gets energy applied to it and diffuses the whole surface. So
What?
a laser can only touch one point at a time.
Right.
This carriage comes across and can do the whole layer at once.
Oh, so this is, if we think about, when we talk about resin, like DLP technology versus SLA technology, a laser versus a layer at a time.
This is why you're the nerd. This is perfect
this
technology.
is very similar to that. So this is still powder bed,
Still
but
powder.
instead of a laser, this is a layer.
Yes, exactly. So you're doing a whole layer at
Oh,
once
that's
instead
cool.
of doing one plot point at a time, right? And so effectively, compared to some SLS and traditional laser systems, this is about 5 to 10 times faster.
But you get that speed with now the variety of powder bed materials.
You definitely have powder bed materials. So this is a nylon 11 because they wanted the ductility.
Okay.
Nylon 11 has a little bit more
Also, a
duct.
little bit of give to it.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And what's amazing is you can do a lot of components at a pretty low cost. Because you don't have all that time in the machine, you're getting more throughput, you're using more powder, and in our technology, you only need 30% virgin powder, so that means everything you don't use in the build, you can reuse to make the next part.
Do you know how many times?
So infinitely, because you're always dosing a little bit of what we call virgin powder.
Oh, I see.
So you're dosing it with just a little bit of virgin powder, and that allows you to reuse as much as possible. So
Okay.
there's very little waste and throwaway with this. We can fit 2 in a build, and we've made about 800 of them so far.
Well, here, let's set it down now. I
Sure.
think we've,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think the audience got to see
we go
enough,
this
right?
way with it?
We'll go this way.
We'll go
I think
this way with
it'll be, yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
Look at that.
I think it should be okay.
Yeah. It's on the floor, right here. I
Yeah.
promise I won't step on
It's
it.
safe. Yep.
It's a NASCAR windshield, man. They take a beating.
They take a bit, and you know what's crazy? If the window gets scratched, if something happens to it, they got to scrap it.
Oh, and this is signed.
This
so
is
I mean,
this is from the winning car. So what they do is they kind of dismantle the winning car and give it to certain vendors and enthusiasts.
Really?
and
So
stuff.
okay, I know this isn't 3D printing related, but you would
okay.
know because we're
It's
talking
fun.
about
It's
this.
fun.
This
It's
is
fun.
fun. So if we take a NASCAR and it wins a race, then
that hood is in somebody's garage somewhere.
no.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. So you can do that.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
We got more parts?
We got more parts. So look, I wanted to let me. So
Oh, wait.
actually, look, here's the actual part that's glued to the windshield here.
Okay.
So you can see complex
Oh.
geometry. All it's doing is directing air, but
Okay.
it needs to be complicated because of the whole environment of NASCAR. There's
Yeah,
a lot
makes
going
sense.
on, right? You need to fit something. There's probably a different part that comes in through here,
Of
right?
course there
It's a
is.
very complex structure, the NASCAR.
That makes a lot of sense.
But how would you do this in traditional technologies? You really wouldn't be able to. It would be
No.
maybe 15 different components.
Right.
Somebody would have to weld them or glue them or do something. We're able to take the CAD, print it. Now, if all of a sudden they said, hey, we could do something different with our windshield, or we need more air, let's make this bigger, they just do that on the spot, and now they could switch to the new version without having to tool everything back up.
Well, that's kind of cool. What do you got there?
So, look, NASCAR is cool, but people generally can't drive in a NASCAR vehicle for the most part.
Generally,
You can't buy a NASCAR car.
Not that I know of.
Yes, you can't buy a NASCAR car. You can buy parts, but you can't buy a NASCAR car. So it's cool, but it's not material to the consumer.
Yeah.
I have a story here, and unfortunately the big grill it's attached to is at our booth screwed into the wall, so I couldn't pull it off the wall.
That's right. We just got to go visit then.
Absolutely. Our marketing people would kill me. But this is a camera mount for a souped up F-150. So
Okay.
you're familiar with the Ford F-150?
Oh yeah, I've owned one.
Okay.
Many people have owned one.
Perfect. Well, there's a company called Roush Performance.
Oh, Roush, yeah.
Yes, and what they do is they soup up the car. So they take the car and
right.
they add tires to it, they add new leather inside, they add a different grille, they jack it up, make the exhaust louder. They soup it up. Well, when they did that on the grill and they installed their own grill, they realized, oh shoot, the camera is now off kilter a little bit.
Oh.
So with new cars, you have all this ADAS, assisted driver
Oh,
technology.
I see. Yep, all this stuff. Yeah.
And so they said, uh-oh, our new grill, which is a very expensive, really large mold, we need to make a change on it. What are we going to do? So they came to us and said, hey, can you prototype this? And we said, sure, we can prototype it. What's your production plan? They're like, we don't have one. Can you help? And we're like, this material, the same material we're using for NASCAR here, we're using on a production piece for Roush F-150s.
That's really cool.
So if you buy a Roush F-150 today, you will get a Stratasys printed
May I?
part on the grill. Absolutely. So this holds the camera. It's a little bit less cosmetic because it's in the background. That's the actual front of the car parts. So our parts.
A production consumer part. This is what exists on the truck.
You buy a truck today, you go to any Roush dealer, there's I think 500 of them in the country. You go to any of them and say, I want the F-150, you will get our part on it, on the front grill.
How cool is that?
It's very cool. It's very cool. It's there's not a lot of good stories around higher production. 2,000 units or so a year. That's not monstrous by automotive standards.
No.
But it's monstrous by additive standards.
Right, and 12 to 24 months ago, wouldn't have had that.
Yeah.
Like, so we're on that curve now. We're getting to that.
100%.
Yeah.
And by the way, this technology, we have so much process controls as the OEM of the equipment, and Stratasys Direct is the fulfillment arm of Stratasys. We can PPAP this. So PPAP is an automotive standard.
PPAP?
Yeah, it's a global automotive standard. So any part you would make.
Is it PPAP? Like,
yes,
is it an acronym?
Yes, yeah.
Oh.
Shoot, you put me on the spot. Something production process approval
I'll
process.
take it. I'll take it. Yeah, that's fine.
Trust me. And it passes PPAP, which means it's passing the same standards that an injection molded part
That's
would need to
huge.
pass.
That's
Absolutely.
huge.
Absolutely. It's a big gap.
Well, because when we talk about parts that go into transportation, like for example, airline parts,
Yeah.
They have to be qualified against certain parts that are not additive manufacturing made before they go in. And so I would imagine any consumer vehicle, whether it's a truck or an airplane or whatever, for the truck, it's got PPAP. And for so
and you would be surprised. You'd think a plane needs to be more controlled than a car, but there are a ton of controls in a car. So on the plane, you're focused on flammability. You don't want things to catch and stay on fire. But for the most part, the airlines can sort of dictate what they need. On a consumer vehicle, it's really, there's a lot of requirements and 100 years of we used to do it this way, we used to do it that way, and that's baked into the approval process. So when you look at a PPAP process today, it's sort of written for an injection mold. We had to do a lot of work to adapt it for additive.
Oh, I
but
see.
Obviously we passed, and this is a production car, production part on a production car you can get today.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Oh man, I heard, now I don't know how much we can talk about it, but there was an original part that we were going to talk about,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And if can I mention what it was? Okay. Yeah. So originally, the original plan for Stratasys at the show today was to showcase a part that had been to outer space.
Yeah.
Which is cool. So there is still an additive part that existed on the ISS that Stratasys 3D printed.
Yeah.
And it's back on Earth somewhere.
Somewhere, yeah. So look, what I always tell people that blows their mind is, have you ever been on a plane?
Yeah, to get here, in fact, I was.
Yes,
yeah.
There you go. So if you have been on a plane, you've likely been on a plane that has Stratasys parts on it.
Really?
Yes. So our aerospace division is huge. I lead the automotive division. That's why I'm geeking out on
that
all
makes
this stuff
that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
But these are the two big pillars that hold up Stratasys, plus medical, of course. There are a lot of medical opportunities for additive, especially at Stratasys. And so these three sectors are all innovating in a way that just hasn't been seen before. And they're going to people like Stratasys to say, what can you do on material? What can you do on process control? How do you get a better surface finish? How do you get better throughput? How do we lower the cost per part? All of these conversations are being had on a daily basis with people like Boeing or SpaceX or Tesla or Ford, right?
Sure. Well, and being able to showcase them that you're able to do this as an example, all of a sudden they're like, oh, well, if you can do that, then you can do this and this and this. And this starts that snowball effect of what people start to perceive as being possible with additive.
Very well said. It's hopefully the pebble that dislodges an avalanche, right? I mean, that's really what we're hoping.
This is the pebble that starts the AM avalanche.
Yeah, exactly.
The avalanche. That's a terrible word. Don't repeat
Exactly.
that. The avalanche.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not everything's a good idea when you're live.
You know what? We're brainstorming. It's live. It's YouTube. It's all good.
What's your favorite material that Stratasys uses? I like to add, because a lot of times people geek out about this stuff. Like you said, you're head of automotive. What was Was there ever a material where you're like, wow, I can't believe this is printed? Or was there a project you were a part of where you're like, I didn't think this was possible? Was there that mind-blowing moment?
My mind is blown by the perfect transition you've just set up for me. So let me show you one more part.
Okay.
This is just a display.
Okay.
But it speaks,
May I?
Yes, please do. But it speaks to my favorite material at Stratasys.
Is this like a clutch?
Yeah, it's intended to be something that people can step on at the trade show to show you how strong the material is.
Ah, I see. I see.
So this material is a nylon 12 carbon fiber. So it is a nylon 12 that's about 30 to 35% infused with carbon fiber filament.
Okay.
So they're about 200 microns, tiny little pieces of carbon fiber, all infused into this material. What that does is it gives it amazing strength to weight ratio. So
because the carbon fiber is a little bit lighter, but you know, you've got, because of that nylon, you have that strength of the material.
And this is printed on FDM, so this is a filament-based technology.
Okay.
But this material is incredibly...
Looks good.
Yeah, it's beautiful, right? Yeah, FDM always gets a knock for surface finish. But why I love this material is because it's enabling automakers to actually make tooling out of this technology. So where you would have an aluminum assembly aid or an aluminum jig or an aluminum end-of-arm tool, you now can switch to a polymer-based carbon fiber-filled material like this, and you save on weight. I'll give you one quick example, which is an end-of-arm tool made out of steel is picking up a part.
Okay.
It can only move as fast as kind of the weight that we've put on it. So the more weight, the slower it moves to produce parts. We swapped out a steel end-of-arm tool for an polymer carbon fiber reinforced end-of-arm tool that's picking up a part and doing an operation on a robot. The robot now moves 19% faster.
Really?
So
that's a massive change.
Imagine all the supply chain issues we're having today, and I go to a supplier and I say, hey, you can make 20% more of that part.
Yeah, right, because it's not just the time savings, it's the amount of production you increase because you're saving time per part.
Yeah, and look, I'm sure if you've bought a car recently, it's an 8-month lead time. So now, if I can get you more parts from your suppliers by implementing some of this material into the tooling world, I know it's not as sexy as production parts, but tooling is really important for getting parts out the door.
Tooling is starting to become one of those sexy showcases for additive because if we talk about manufacturing in general, even someone who's never used additive, they will become kings of additive because they will make all of this tooling for their production lines.
Absolutely. It's a sleeping giant. Supporting production is so critically important inside of every industry,
Hold on.
especially auto. Oh, we lost your mic.
I lost my mic, so I'm going to hold it right here. There it is.
So every industry needs this. Every industry needs a way to support manufacturing.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. And even industries that aren't historically additive friendly or that favor more of a time-honored process, we're now finding that they are now starting to look at additive to enhance their process. Because if you're classically making something, there's going to be jigs that you have to use to form pieces or to send things around an assembly line. And even though you're not using additive in the product, you might have 80% of your tooling influenced by additive.
Absolutely. And by the way, it's not an either or. It's not like, oh, I implemented additive tooling, I now have to throw away every aluminum tool I have, right? I always use this example. If you buy a power drill, you don't just throw away all your screwdrivers. Like, they all have different needs.
They all sit in the drawer, the drawer.
It depends on how organized you are. Mine are just in every room. But yeah, it's different tools for different purposes. So additive isn't going to be the solution for every tooling thing out there.
No.
But it is making significant impacts.
It absolutely
doesn't need
should not be. I think more people are starting to realize that additive as a tool for this, I mean, especially in your world, the automotive world, additive as a tool that enables production is key. Like making parts for the car out of additive, that's really cool.
Right.
But making parts that make the other non-additive parts for the car faster, more effective, easier, economically cheaper, like all of that is still valid, and it's a wonderful additive use case.
Absolutely.
Well, I got to re-mic, and I know you got a lot of things to do at your booth.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you for coming by and showing this amazing stuff. This is like a fidget toy.
Yeah, I know. And you know what? Thousands of people have stepped all over that.
I would imagine this is something that has been articulated many times.
Yeah, exactly.
See, what you need to do is get a little. I know you got to go, but what you got to do next time you show this off is just get a little counter. Just get a little counter, but don't make a display. Like, don't let people know that there's a counter, or else they're going to game the system. But just to see how many times it's articulated in a day.
You know what? That's why you're in media. Great idea. You'll see that next
Just
time.
as a use case, you're like,
Yeah.
this was articulated this much over this amount of time, and over lunch we saw this, and it still
That's a great
performed.
point,
And it
yeah,
didn't,
yeah.
I don't know, it might be interesting. A little,
I
little
like it.
project.
Good
I mean, you're a
advice,
car
yeah,
guy. You
yeah.
know there's electronics in cars.
Hey, I don't have enough to do. Thank
Get
you.
yourself an Arduino.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming by. I'll let you do
Absolutely,
this.
yes.
Hey, David, my mic fell out, so I need to readjust my mic. Yes. So, just,
Hi, everyone.
wait, here, do it that way. Hi, everyone. So what I do is I take, what is this called? This
Moleskin.
is moleskin, and I tape it to my. Everyone okay?
Oh, there's big things coming.
I tape it to myself, and apparently it doesn't hold to myself very well. So I'll do that. Is that going to hold to me?
No, it'll hold. That's gaff tape. It'll hold to you.
You sure?
Or put it on your shirt on the outside. It looks hokey, but
No. I mean, I can. Okay. Here we.
try it. We'll see. Right on the chest hair. That'll be fun later.
No, it's really cool. I have a patch missing here from all the times I've had to record.
That's awesome.
No, we're good. We're
All
good.
right, let me go do an audio check.
Yeah, audio check. This has been a joy, and I'm really happy to have you all along with me because this is and what's coming up next is just stupid large too. Oh, you know what? Before I forget, make sure you grab your beverage and stay hydrated. Dustin's behind camera. Dustin, are you staying hydrated?
No, but I'll be okay.
Okay, Dustin, you're going to be okay? Dustin says he's not hydrating, but come on, man. You need your electrolytes. It's what plants crave. I'm excited for what's up next. I'm really, really excited for what's up next. David's putting them together. David's the one that's doing the mics on people and stuff. Do a good job, David.
I was going to do a shitty job, a poor job, sorry.
Oh my gosh, good thing you're not mic'd. Said a potty word. This is Rapid TCT 2023. We are live from the show floor. It is just about noon. Wait, it is noon 01. Happy noon. We are still going. We've got another 2 hours of this wonderful live broadcast from the show floor. Like I said earlier,
All right.
oh, I guess we're okay.
Yeah, so we carry the bike, hold the stand still.
From the wheel. From the wheel.
Yeah.
I'm just going to stand over here because
Can you swing it around this way, my end?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay. You want to put it on the table? Should we put the bike on the table now? And then you guys next to it? Can we put the bike right here on the table?
yeah, you could. We've got Wyatt on the camera, right?
You want to try it? Let's see what it looks like.
Sure.
All right, you're
Then yeah,
mic'd. You're
let's
live.
go.
All
Okay,
right.
we're going
You
to put
guys
it on
got
the table.
Put the mic on the table. I'll put the bike.
Hold that.
Hold this. Okay, got it.
Turn it around.
Turn around. How do you want it?
Yeah.
There you go. There we go.
Why not? Let me go look at the shot. Make
That
sure
seems
it
to
goes
be
up.
holding pretty well.
All right, you guys got this? I'm gonna go check it
Want to go a little bit more?
All right.
out. It's too wide. I think it's better if it's on the ground. Well, that's as wide. as
We can put it a little bit on the side.
The problem is this is all glare.
This? Okay.
You want?
So it's all glare. This is.
All right, let's take it back.
This
You want to turn it around?
We could turn it around. Then we'll see the tire and the seat.
We can take the whole table a little bit on the side, and then you'll have like a.
We could do it on the
Hey.
side. You want to do it on the side?
Hey.
And it might scrape up the paint. Hi guys. What do you think?
Yeah, let's just put it on the
Put it back
ground.
down?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I want let's turn it sideways so everybody can see it.
Maybe put it a little bit in front or side of the table, so you can actually get the camera on it.
Well, people have seen it now. We can
Well,
pick
some
it up
people have
again.
seen it.
Well, yeah.
You want to put it here, so the camera can.
Can we redirect, Dustin? What do you think if you redirect the wide? If we put this off to the side? So if we move it over here?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, good idea.
Wait.
Is that in shot? If we want to cut over to that for the angles?
Make sure that's flat. Okay. We good?
Or maybe we should do it the other side. I mean,
That's
that
fine right
over
now. I
there,
think
so
we're good.
you can.
Let's just jump into it, see what happens.
I think we're good.
Whatever.
Sounds great.
It's fine.
Okay.
I told Kevin there's no chairs. We're safe.
So welcome to the Massivit Mass badass. Multi-application showcase. You got it. And I'll
First of all,
talk about that
this
today.
is Kevin from Massivit.
Hello, everybody.
Massivit now, right?
Massivit.
Massivit. This is Kevin from Massivit, one of the kindest humans and a fantastic buddy to have at the pub.
Absolutely.
I think it's how it goes. So this is a motorcycle.
This is a motorcycle. Not only is it a motorcycle, it's a motorcycle that showcases all of the different applications that you can do with the Massivit 10,000G.
How much of this is?
Everything you see here was printed on the printer.
Except
the wheel.
Okay, except the wheel. But everything else.
Everything else.
Like
in
where
some
you
form or
sit,
fashion.
where you ride, where you.
Absolutely.
Let's go through it, man.
All right, so first thing, this was a layup from a mold.
Hey, we talked about that
We
before.
did.
Look at
We
that.
absolutely did. It's a carbon fiber layup from a mold.
That looks good.
It's nice.
That looks, I mean, you guys must be happy with it.
Oh, we're excited. Very excited.
Okay, this is
Beautiful.
carbon fiber, and it's a layup from one of the molds, and we talked about that earlier.
Yep.
Oh, you just stare at it, and it looks good, you know?
Absolutely. So this
Oh,
is also created, but it was created with reactive injection molding. So what we did, where's the mold there, if you don't mind?
reactive injection molding.
Two-part mold,
Got it.
injected with foam, and you ended up with the foam there.
Oh, but the mold was printed.
The mold
With the
was
10,000G,
printed
right?
With the 10,000G, and then it's two parts, so there's a top also.
Does this come out? Can I?
Yeah, absolutely. And so all it is foam, like a seat foam. So any automotive seat that you want to make.
Oh, I see. I see.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's.
And then it was just wrapped with a nice cloth.
It is a nice cloth.
It is a
you
nice
guys,
cloth.
You guys,
It's
okay.
nice and comfortable.
So look. So here's the mold.
The beauty
that
about
made
this
it.
as well is you only have to finish where it connects. The inside doesn't matter because the foam doesn't care.
Oh, that's
right? 'Cause
true.
You're gonna wrap it with some type of upholstery.
So on the 10,000G, what we talked about before, doing the mold, you still have to finish the mold that it makes, but
You
only where
have to
it
finish
connects.
Where it connects.
That's
Exactly.
cool, man. Well, here, I got to put this back. I don't want to. Here, I'm going to hand that to you. Did I do it wrong?
No, you're good. You're good.
I'll hand it to him. He'll do it. Okay, so the seat was made with the foam from the mold made from the 10,000G when it finished.
Absolutely.
Okay, we just saw that. Okay.
All right. So this one is awesome. So can you hand me the mandrels? So this was printed with the water breakable material on the 10,000G.
Oh,
Only.
only.
Then there was a layup, carbon fiber, vacuum bagged, and then we just washed away the water breakable material. It basically breaks into very small pieces.
And you poured it out.
Poured it out. You got your your
Oh.
finished carbon fiber part. So any type of complex shape that you want to make a mold, a carbon fiber piece from, fiberglass as well, you can do it this way.
That's the amazing part. So let me tell them about
no,
that just
please,
a little bit.
please.
So when we talk about a carbon fiber layup, typically you have a mold on the inside that you have to remove. And so that's why you'll have multi-piece carbon fiber layups in order to put something like this together. This is all one piece. It's a gas tank.
It's a gas
It's a
tank.
gas tank. But it was made using a 3D printed mold, and how this works is this mold is made using water breakable material, not
Yes.
water soluble.
Correct.
Water breakable. So this breaks up into pieces, and then like Kevin said, you just pour it out and you're left with a singular carbon fiber piece from a 3D printable mold.
Yes.
Did I get that right?
Yes, we call it a wash away core application.
Wash away core. That's much better than water breakable makes sense, but a wash away core, that sounds like something you can
That's
patent or
exactly
trademark,
right.
you know?
And then the coup de grace of it all.
Oh, here, we got it. Oh, there we go. There we go.
The coup de grace of it all is, and then the frame was printed with our traditional GDP gel dispensing printing technology.
Really? The frame was?
The frame was printed 24 hours.
So
Freaking out, by the way, and they're loving this.
they should be, because this is amazing.
So the entire frame was printed in one piece in 24 hours, and then fiberglass, primed, painted, just like you see here, just like any automotive process, basically.
It looks amazing.
Which is why we call it the MAS, the Mass Badass, because that's what it is. It absolutely is.
So now with your GDP stuff, typically, in the experience that I've had with it, things have to be reinforced from the inside for stability. So
Yes.
this isn't a bike that's going to go down the road
It
yet.
could, absolutely.
Oh, really?
Because it's reinforced with fiberglass.
Oh, so it's got strength.
It's got fiber. It's got strength.
Oh.
Yes, you could. We put the wheel on. You can put the other wheel on. Put an engine on. You can ride this baby.
Are you gonna?
I would love to.
Man, can you imagine just taking it down the aisle?
Oh,
just
it's beautiful.
Just put
It's
some batteries
beautiful.
in it. That way there's no pollution.
Yeah, exactly. No
Wow.
carbon footprint.
I love this application because, I mean, we're friends.
Yes.
We've worked together on a lot of really cool stuff.
We have.
And being able to showcase the GDP in a way that has detail. Because a lot of times for the gel stuff, it's a thick bead that you're laying down.
Yes.
And for finishing it, you typically talk about sanding the peaks and filling in the valleys.
Right.
Typically.
Yes.
But here, you don't have to do that as much because you're doing carbon fiber layup on it.
Right. It's lightweight, extremely lightweight. Our material is lightweight.
Well, I mean, you guys were lifting it with no problem.
Yeah, because this is hollow, right? This is hollow. This is one layup piece, and this is just a foam seat. And so it's extremely lightweight. And then the other beautiful thing is, so when we've talked before, you either had to print with GDP like the 1800 and the 5000, or you had to do the mold. So you needed two printers.
Yes.
The 10,000G that we're announcing here at the show does both. So you can do all of this with the same printer.
Oh, so now we're going to be able to do gel can they really?
Yes, any of our materials can be printed using the GDP technology, and then the water breakable and the casting material is done on another print head. So because you got two print heads.
So for the customers then that you guys service with your Massivit machines, how much has this been a request? And were people like
everybody, every single person, every single customer that we've talked to about the 10,000 who purchased the 10,000 said, well, can I print prototypes? Can I print in-use parts with it as well? And the answer to now has been no. And so we listen to our customers in terms of what we bring to market. So our guys, who are amazing, said, well, why don't we just set it up to where you can do either or?
That's really cool, and I like hearing that, because a lot of times being able to offer new technology most of the time means you have to buy something new, but for someone who's in the market for one of these can now get both economically compared to buying two different machines.
Absolutely.
And I mean, I know the size of the Massivit machines, they're massive. It's in the name.
There you go.
But now, because it's in just one machine, you don't take up the space of two.
Right, exactly.
Whose idea was the motorcycle to kind of showcase these parts?
I actually don't know, but it was one of our applications guys in Israel. So
I'm really glad they chose it.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And so we've rebranded.
That's right.
And these are our new colors. So the blue and the purple is are our new colors. So here you go.
It's funny because this motorcycle exists at their booth, and they just carried it. They just brought it over.
Exactly.
How have you been, man? It's been a
I'm
while.
doing great.
You know, I just
doing fantastic.
give me one of those. It's so good to see you.
It's good to see you too, Joel.
Can I tell them the story real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
We were joking.
We got
about
time.
it.
We originally Kevin's a wonderful dude, and David and I we've been to the pub. We've had a few drinks. It's been wonderful. We were at a location, and the chairs looked like they had seen their final days. Like the chairs should have been retired, but we still sat at them because it's the only chairs they had. And Kevin sat down, and it just shattered. It just crumbled into pieces. Just crumbled. It was amazing. And so for this live show, what we had thought about doing was making you a little chair that you could it crumbled and you could put it back together with magnets. But we didn't have a chance to do it. But oh man.
And then what happened right after that?
I don't remember. Did you break another?
No, you did.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I fell down. Oh my gosh.
Right? I mean, that's the whole thing. You busted the chair. It could not handle the full
Maybe I forgot that on purpose. We'll never know.
Oh, yeah.
For this, when you finish the bike, which you should, you absolutely should, make sure you tweet about that because I'm going to want to see this.
Absolutely, we'll do that.
Questions while you're with Kevin. One is about heat, because the engine's going to generate a lot of heat. You guys talk a little bit about how this will handle on the road.
Sure. Okay, and David brought up something really interesting about road handling and putting an engine in something. It does generate heat, and there is exhaust that you have to worry about and stuff like that. So then with this technology, because it's the gel, but it's wrapped in that carbon fiber, are there considerations for like the vibrations of the motor, the heat generated from the motor, or the hot exhaust that's going out the back? Is there things you have to worry about?
Yeah, so one of the things that we'd have to do, some testing would need to be done to determine what is the maximum heat that it could potentially generate, and then we would compare that to, with the fiberglass, what's the maximum heat that it could sustain.
I would imagine. So someone we know did a 3D printed Lamborghini Aventador.
Yes.
And
Dave and I actually were talking about that.
It's an amazing thing. But they used PLA to print the outside of the car, but then the outside of the car, the PLA was sandwiched between 3 layers of carbon fiber on either side. And so not only did it benefit from the glass transition temperature now being higher, it provided sound deadening, and it provided structural rigidity because that carbon fiber over the PLA really helped. And so it could be that your gel is a great middle material between carbon fiber layups to power these sort of things.
Could be. Testing to be done, for sure.
What? What?
We have our next guest, but you've got 5 minutes if you want, or if you guys want to wrap it up.
Well, we've talked with, I don't know. I feel like we've seen everything we need to see, but what's coming up? Like what can people expect to see from Massivit in the next 12 months?
Well, so we've got, one of the things that you've seen is the wood.
Yep.
We've got it in the booth. And so all I can tell you is that we're making progress.
Ooh, that wood piece that Erez gave me, my dad is a woodworker.
Okay.
Like ever since he was a kid, and up to dad age now.
Right.
And I gave him that piece, and he stared at it. Like he couldn't believe that a wood piece was made using that technology, and he put it on his desk.
Nice.
It's a desk order.
Nice.
Well, this has been fun, Kevin. I think we've seen what we need to see,
Absolutely.
and people went crazy. I love you, brother. Really glad you came by.
Absolutely.
Really, we'll have to catch a beverage sometime with some sturdier chairs.
Let's absolutely do that.
How do you want to pull this back
Let's.
Well, let me get your mic. Let me turn your mic on.
There we go. Kevin did wonderful, everybody. Make sure you're following Massivit on the socials.
They've been in the chat and very active as well.
Massivit has?
Yes.
Well, thank you for that, Massivit, for chatting with everything. This was fun, and this is the great thing about live. You never know. Like we just brought a motorcycle on stage, and then we tried to put it on our table for some reason. Because I mean, we should have, of course, but why wouldn't we? And what's really cool, this water breakable material, you're going to see some crazy things made because being able to make a mold for a carbon fiber layup that then just breaks away. Not water soluble, but water breakable. And so for that tank, they just flood it with water, swoosh it around a little bit, and then all that material falls out. Oh man. So good. There we go. I'll hand those off.
Let's check in with our audience.
Check in with the chat. Check in with the chat. See how we're doing.
Say hi to Kim. She's from Massivit. Kim
Kim. Oh, hi, Kim. Everybody in the chat right now. The Massivit account is being run by Kim. She is a wonderful human. I highly suggest you say hi to Kim. That's fair.
Cool.
My microphone is still there. The gaff tape is holding.
Yeah.
I'm putting myself at risk.
Really excited about this. They really there was a lot of discussion about this technology here is widely applicable in so many.
Well, I just when you guys were putting away the motorcycle, we talked about how that water breakable material is going to be next level for carbon fiber layups, because we're going to be able to do those single carbon fiber layups using incredible topology and this weird geometry thanks to 3D printing, and then you'll have a carbon fiber for it. This is great. How's everybody doing? I hope you're doing good. What time is it? Let's see. Oh, we're doing great on time.
I love it.
This is, I'm just gonna lean in for a little bit. How y'all doing? It's been good. This has been fun. Not everybody, I know like my buddy Nero does live streams. A lot of other people do these lengthy live streams. Usually I don't do super long ones, or when I do, excuse me, I'm building stuff. So now though, this is the amazing part. Let there be light, jeez.
Yeah, our next is ceramics.
Oh, is this it?
Yeah.
This is David, right? Yep. Come on up here, David. So this is David from, now is it Cinto? 3D Ceram.
Cinto.
3D Ceram Cinto.
Yes.
Okay, and technical ceramics.
Technical ceramics.
So not like the bowls and the nice things that my grandma has.
Right, not like making a little vase for your mom in class, in art class, and then you put it in the kiln, right, and then it would crack.
Right, exactly. Oh yeah,
So
oh yeah.
Yes, so many people are familiar with
May
that.
I?
This is, yes. So what we are making is technical ceramics out of high temperature, very durable ceramics. So alumina, zirconia like you would use for a watch case, or like you would use for a bone implant.
Oh,
or
watch case. I was like, okay, I get it. A bone implant. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah,
wait a minute.
It's biocompatible. Your zirconia is biocompatible, so you can put it in and replace your titanium, whether it's a titanium screw or a plate, or instead of a plate, you would do a complete mesh surrounding the entire bone out of a lattice-structured piece of ceramic.
Oh,
and
so
then the bone accepts it and just grows into it.
Oh, so a titanium. Okay, when we're talking about biocompatibility, titanium is something the body, it doesn't. It's not biocompatible, but it doesn't push.
It's tolerant.
It's tolerant. Thank you. It's tolerant. But then those screws those are removed when done.
Yes.
So when we talk about a ceramic, a zirconia ceramic, it's biocompatible in that it will grow around it. So the body accepts it.
Yes, and then it starts to fuse into the bone, will actually grow into it. Not only that, but the
Is that how we become Wolverine?
It is. So this would be your unobtainium.
Okay.
And as Wolverine's claws are poking out, like that would be something like this material. That is an alumina.
Alumina.
Yeah. So
now that sounds similar to aluminum.
Yes, but it's aluminum oxide. So it's it's a ceramic. And that little part there is what we picture as a replacement for the heat shields. As we start looking at high temperature materials, another application, ceramics can withstand temperatures well in excess of 1,000 degrees Celsius.
Hold on just a sec, David.
Something that came up from a couple people asking, is this MRI friendly when you get back into it? Please address that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, continue with this, but then we're going to get into some medical stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, someone asked about MRIs. We'll get into that.
Okay, so yeah, when we think about high temperature, whether you're talking hypersonic speed, in excess of Mach 7, the outside surface of the vehicle would get, over 1,200 degrees Celsius.
Which is what in Fahrenheit?
Nearly 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay, super hot.
Super hot.
Super hot.
And so what we need is to protect the vehicle and the occupant, or the stuff on the inside, depending on what you're
that makes sense.
firing around. It needs to be able to be protected. So we will have heat shields that not only can be used once, like the current space shuttle, it goes up, and when it came back down, it would burn off that ceramic outer coating, and then all of those little heat shields had to be replaced every time.
Oh,
20,000 little heat shields had to be replaced.
So you're talking about being able to use ceramics, 3D printable ceramics, that can dissipate the heat enough to become a heat shield.
Yes.
But more than once.
More than once, multiple times. Reusable spaceships, basically.
The whole point of the space shuttle was reusable spacecraft.
Right. So they would just peel the skin off and then put a new skin on, and then back up it goes.
So it's like a chameleon.
Right.
So you're talking about not being a chameleon
not having
anymore.
to do that anymore.
Okay.
So as commercial space becomes a thing, we will see more and more of that. As hypersonic vehicles and travel becomes possible, where you're traveling at extreme speed in the atmosphere.
So not even spaceships, but just airships and
Yes.
things going fast in atmosphere.
Yes.
Oh.
Because the atmosphere has a lot of drag.
Yeah, well, at speed.
At speed.
At
yes.
speed. Like
Yeah. For
when
me
I'm-
moving,
no, it's fine.
I
It's
don't
fine.
need a heat shield. I'm not going that fast ever. So, or like if you're firing a laser at something for your targeting or your like.
Oh, you have
location.
to dissipate that heat.
Yeah, that laser has to be. So if this is a parabolic mirror base, so this big thing is specifically designed to capture as the laser hits it and reflects it. That mirror would get extremely hot because where the other end of where the laser has to go is a long ways away. So that's a powerful laser. So it's a lot of heat. So again, being able to protect it from heat, biocompatibility, and mass customization. So if you think about dental applications or bone or spinal implants, medical things.
Dental?
Yeah, so.
Well, wait, okay, so medical, let's solve this question. Someone asked, is this MRI friendly?
Yeah, so there's no metallic or magnetic material inside this material.
Oh.
Right? So because it's not
So
metallic,
it's called
not-
alumina or
Yeah, alumina.
alumina. It's not aluminum.
Right. So it would be totally, it would look the same as a bone on an MRI.
That's insane.
Right.
How
And-
cool is that?
And as you're going through the metal detector, you no longer are setting off metal detectors with your plate or your screws
Oh my gosh.
or whatever else, right?
I just remember that scene in Total Recall where everybody's walking past it. We'll just see a bunch of lattice work going
Yes.
through.
Yes. And the bone will actually grow into it, so you won't even really see the lattice work after some period of time.
How far away are we from that being a standard?
So right now,
Is that a good question? You know what I mean?
No. I think so. Right now, the issue is it takes about, once you print it, it only takes a day to print it.
Okay.
And then it takes some time to debind and sinter it.
Okay. So there's still that process.
Right, and that takes about a week. So like to go from this would be a green part, that is the same part, debound and sintered. So as you can see, the shrink
Yeah, I'll hold that up for
is
you.
about 20%.
Can you see that, Dustin?
Yeah,
Okay.
so it shrinks about 20% during that sintering process.
Is it calculable?
Yes.
Okay.
And we have this oversizing is part of our software in the 3D printing process.
Okay.
So our software.
I kind of figured.
Yeah, the Build It software, compensates.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, the X, Y, and Z, when you're using SLA printing, it's not the same. Because in XY, you're just curing a layer, but in Z, you're building layers on top of each other. So the shrink will be
is
slightly different.
Oh.
So you have to compensate differently in different directions. So the software is important.
Wow. And you have that.
Yes.
You're doing these technical ceramics.
Yes.
So
It's part
going
of the
from a
process.
green part though to a debound and sintered part, a week. What happens in that week?
So in a kiln, when you're firing a ceramic, you have to go very slow to heat it up.
Or else
it'll just break.
Yeah.
Right. So so to get it up to 600 degrees Celsius to do the debinding takes about a couple days, and then you leave it for a day at that temperature, and then you keep going, and you can get even hotter to make sure everything's burned off, and then you come back down. That's a 4-day process currently. Current technology.
So the time is just in the ramping up the temperature slowly and coming down.
Right.
There's not this massive number of things that has to be done. It's
No.
just the heat profile has to take 4 days.
Right, it's just got to go slow or the ceramic
Oh my
will
gosh.
break. So yeah, so that's really the bottleneck in your process, right? So if you have, like our dental or orthodontic application would be, you're making a different tooth or a different orthodontic bracket or a different abutment for an implant. Every one of them is unique for every tooth, for every patient. So on an orthodontic system, you're talking 28 unique parts on every patient, each one turning the tooth the right amount to get that end result. Times 28 teeth, times 6,000 patients a month. It's an immense number of part numbers.
That's a
right?
lot.
And that's only a small percentage of the market.
Gee. No, wait a minute. Okay, if we're talking about teeth here, like I have some, you have some.
Yeah.
Would technical ceramic teeth be stronger than like the teeth I've grown?
Yes. So if we made them out of an alumina, alumina can be even translucent. Like your teeth, everyone thinks your teeth are white. They're actually kind of translucent.
Kind of translucent, yeah, a little bit, yeah.
So we can get that translucency out of this material using a HIP process, where you get the grains and molecules really close together so the light isn't diffracting and diffusing to create that white color. It actually becomes more glass-like and becomes clear. It's also incredibly hard when it gets to that density. and it would be as hard as a tooth.
As hard as?
Yeah.
Not hard, like, I would imagine
there are ceramics that are harder than enamel on teeth, for sure.
Wow.
So you could...
I didn't even think, but that's...
You could make it harder than what was there originally, if you had the right material.
Well, just thinking, like for dental stuff, like fillings in teeth. When I got mine when I was a kid, you know, you get your fillings, but they don't tell you, like, there's a good chance it'll last like 20 years.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. And I know things have gotten better, but for people that have dentures or teeth replacements, it seems like this is fantastic because it's not a continual thing that needs to be updated. It's strong right now and it will last longer than you.
Right, and then the implant, the bone implants, like the screw, like when you do a full set of teeth replacement, you actually put a screw into the jaw, and then there's what's called an abutment, goes on top of the screw, and then the crown goes on top of that.
Okay.
All of those parts could be custom and unique for each tooth.
Oh.
And could be specifically angled to fit in your different shaped jaw or your different shaped face, because all humans are slightly different. Slightly, yes. Some of us are taller, some of us are shorter. But, so yeah, you have different face structures and different jaw structures, so they have to be unique parts. Mass customization is one of the main reasons why you do 3D printing.
Oh, absolutely. But I don't think of mass customization with technical ceramics, just because you do every day.
Yes.
But it's just not in my wheelhouse. And so I was thinking about stuff, and I'm like, this is crazy because a lot of times when we talk about customizations with FFF style machines, you can use cheap materials to prototype stuff to get it custom how you want it. And then you can use a more technical material, such as like Peak or Ultim or whatever. But now we're talking about things that are biocompatible. Like we're talking about things that are stronger, things that can dissipate thousands of degrees. How cool is that?
Yes, this is the new technology. This is kind of the cutting edge. You're starting to hear people talking about ceramics more and more in the 3D printing industry. This little one was a little project we did for our friends in the space industry down in Cape Canaveral.
Like NASA.
Yeah.
Can I say NASA?
Yeah, you can.
NASA.
You can.
NASA.
Yeah, NASA.
NASA.
So
NASA.
Imagine, like I said, you need to dissipate that heat. So you have a surface that has to be smooth because it's got to be able to travel at high speed.
Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, let's go over this. So if I want to make a heat shield for a spacecraft, such as the space shuttle with NASA, if we wanted to make that, let's go over that. So you need a smooth surface.
Smooth outer surface, and that has to have as little drag as possible. So as few joints as possible, which means as big of a printed shape as you can make, right? So you want to, right now they were limited by the size of the heat shield, could only be about 250 by 250. Well, 3D Ceram makes a 3D printer that can be 600 by 600. We make large format ceramics.
Oh, so we're talking about less parts too.
Yes, less parts, right?
Okay, so we've got a big nearly 600 by 600.
Smooth surface on the outside. Now that gets hit by immense heat during the drag of re-entry as it goes through
because of the atmosphere, right? And it's purely that drag of the atmosphere.
So that's generating heat on the outside. So now we got to dissipate that heat before it gets to that inner aluminum skin that the actual vehicle is made out of, and before it gets inside to the occupants or whatever the stuff that's on the inside.
You can be toasty, but not too toasty.
Right, and we'll demonstrate that on Friday when you come out.
Ooh, spoilers.
Spoiler alert.
Spoilers.
Yes.
Spoilers.
So you will have a smooth outer surface, and then what type of infill is the best infill?
I'm a gyroid person myself.
Gyroid.
Is it really?
Yes, and because the gyroid shape makes that transfer of heat much longer. It's a much longer path.
Oh, so we're not. Well, okay, so here's what I'm wondering. And this is a technical ceramic here, and this is a heat shield. So then the gyroid, is it the path of the ceramic or is it the airway that it makes?
Both.
Oh, it's both.
So you're transferring heat through the ceramic, but at a very slow pace because it's ceramic, doesn't transfer heat very well. But the longer the distance, the longer it takes to heat up. It's a 20-minute reentry on some, very long trajectory reentries. Short reentries are much faster. It doesn't have to withstand the heat for as long.
That makes sense.
But it's much higher heat if you come through faster.
Oh, I guess, yeah.
So it depends, right? So you go through and you're dissipating that heat through the alumina, but you're also, by having all that air in there, that's really pulling the heat away.
I've always thought of air as an insulator.
It can be an insulator, but it can also, if you can get any movement of it, it can pull it away.
Oh, so if there's heat on one side,
Right.
then is that, because it's not as hot on the other side, so do you see air movement within the gyroid infill?
Yes.
No way.
Yes. And
That's so cool.
You could purposely push air through it, directed air, cold air, or a liquid.
Is that what?
That's actually to drain, but it should be dual purpose, right? Why not push air through it? Why not push a coolant through it? Do whatever, right?
Oh, so this, like the same theory of like liquid cooling our PCs.
Right.
We're just liquid cooling a spacecraft skin.
Right. Same thing. And you can only do it with 3D printing.
Yeah.
There's no other way you could do that.
You cannot. That's what I love about. So gyroid is really cool because I mean, my friend Ellie, she makes a chocolate 3D printer.
I've seen that.
It's the tastiest infill.
Yes.
But also, as far as an infill goes, it's not manufacturable any other way.
Correct.
Yes. You have to use additive to make it.
Right.
And if you can now use that infill and make it with something as amazing as this technical ceramic. Remind me what, alumina?
That's alumina. We could also use silicon nitride, which can withstand heats of 1400 C, like you're getting close to 3000 Fahrenheit. So that would be like the temperature of the sun.
Well, right. So are we talking now, we could have satellites and spacecraft get closer to the sun because they have a skin that can deflect more heat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shut up.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And as you're landing, the other thing is, as you're landing on these other non-Earth places, some of them are very dusty.
Yes.
Like the lunar surface has, the lunar regolith material. It's really abrasive. It's like a bunch of small little diamonds rubbing against anything.
Right.
So you need a hard ceramic to withstand that abrasive material. It's another reason to use a ceramic.
Oh, it's not just able to dissipate high heat. It's
also
abrasive
very hard
resistance.
Yes.
So so here's a question. I do a lot of FFF style 3D printing.
Right.
Is there a reason why we don't see a proliferation of like alumina nozzles?
So really the only reason I can think of is they are more fragile, or not fragile, they're more brittle. So if you were to like whack it into the build plate, that happens.
It does.
I've seen people do it. I've never done it myself. I always get it perfect every time. But if you were to actually drop it down on there, you could chip ceramic.
I see.
That could be the only reason, but if you think of how hard it would last forever.
Right.
Certainly PLA is not going to damage it.
No, but anytime you infuse like glass fiber or carbon fiber in that material, like it's not going to be able to touch a ceramic at all.
No. And even like now we're talking about running ceramics in FFF. You talked with Sid back in one of our
that's right.
At Formnext.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
So
people loved hearing that stuff, by the way.
Yeah, so you can do, in your filament, you can do ceramic, you can do metal. And then you take it through the same process, right? You print it out, you form your green part, and then you debind that binder out of it, and then you sinter it into a solid. You can do the same process with ceramic FFF printed or with ceramic SLA printed.
So with this being a technical ceramic, this was made using UV light curing, right?
Yes, this is SLA, and what's unique about ours and what makes big parts like this possible is we do a thin layer of ceramic, because you can't put it in a vat that doesn't really work very well, and then we cure it top-down SLA, like the old style
it
SLA.
sinks.
And then it sinks down into the vat. So you're printing it top down, so you're not fighting gravity. Like, imagine, here, hold on to this. Imagine if that was stuck to a plate.
Yeah, that's got some weight to it.
Yeah,
man.
it's going to peel off.
Yeah.
It's going to delaminate.
Yeah.
So
gravity assists.
Gravity assist, right? So this is helping you. And also you can build a support underneath and then a thin layer of the resin uncured and just pop it off. You don't have to build supports that are connected to the part, because grinding or snipping supports off of this,
You'll chip it.
I'm
learning a lot today.
Yes.
One of the questions that I really wanted to ask, though, is that while technical ceramics are becoming more prevalent,
yes,
the binding and sintering process is still very much an industrial thing.
It is.
So, like, there is nothing stopping people at home from printing with technical ceramics if they have the right equipment. Like that's not the bottleneck.
No.
For mass adoption at the lower than professional side, it's the debinding and sintering, correct?
Correct. So to get a technical ceramic like in a dental office, you would have to, you could print it, no problem, and they could print up a set of crowns, and then they would have to go into a small kiln under nitrogen for 4 days.
You've lost dentists already at
Yeah.
under nitrogen.
Exactly. They're not going to like that. And then you have to put it in a kiln for another day, right? And those kilns are, anywhere from 20,000 to 200,000 to a gas pressure sintering that you need for silicon nitride is 1.2 million.
Oh.
So it is very difficult to enter the market right now. As technology evolves, you can do kilns with microwave. You can do kilns with other ways of doing the heating. Right? You just need to heat up the surrounding element. But right now, it goes too fast for this material. Microwave sintering is a little too fast.
Okay.
People will be working on it. That is the challenge that people need to work on right now.
Well, I was going to ask you then, these people that are working on it, is the future of technical ceramics just developing the materials even more? It seems like 3D Ceram Sinto has a lot of the materials locked down, so far. Like you guys know how to do this really, really well.
Correct.
So then is the future then businesses will spring up so that people don't have to send a green part away, they will have someplace in town to take it?
That would be the ideal situation. That would be a service bureau that
right,
could do that,
right.
So you have a service bureau that absolutely can do that particular step of the process, or you develop a material that is easier to sinter and debind, or you develop a process that does it faster and easier.
Well, faster would have to change the heat profile, or the material's ability to withstand the heat profile.
Faster ramp.
But on the material development side, then to make that green part, you would be the ones to have to then iterate on materials that would change then the sintering profile. So it's, oh man, it seems really complex. But you're working on it. I bet you're working on it. David, this has been a joy, man.
Yeah.
This has been a lot of fun.
Lots of fun and lots of new stuff to see.
We did kind of tease something that we're going to be doing Friday.
Yes.
That's going to involve some heat.
It is going to involve some heat and then some little joules under some extreme environments. So
I can't
we look
wait,
forward
man.
to that.
This is going to be so much fun. Dude,
Excellent.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joel.
Everybody say bye to David.
The whole 3D Ceram team.
Awesome.
Oh, that was fun. Oh, thank you. Yes. Yes. Got to hydrate. I got to hydrate. It's a lot of talking here. Everybody on the show, if you're watching and you have a drink next to you, please grab it. Dustin, grab a drink.
I can find one.
Don't you have your, did you already drink it?
Oh, yeah.
Get a water. I'm telling my camera person, Dustin, to get a water. Jeez. Hey, pop on. Come here, Mark. Come on, come up here. Everybody, this is Mark Pang right here, man.
Oh, it's live?
Yeah, you're live.
Oh,
You're on the show. This is Mark from Stratasys from Pupali.
I don't have anything to pitch at
That's all right. There you go. Cheers like that. Good to see you.
I was going to ask you, do you have enough to drink or something?
I do.
Last couple of hours, yeah.
I've been talking a lot. Thank you for thinking of me. I do have my cool blue Gatorade right here.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm doing good. How you doing?
Good. It's been 2 years, I think.
It's been a long time.
Last
It's
I
a long
saw you
time.
Was East of was back in 2000. Oh, this guy. It's good to see you guys. Anyway, I know.
Hey,
I know
good to see you, Mark.
Next is waiting, man.
Yeah, we'll chat later, man.
All right, thank you.
Dude, look at that. See, it's live. Crazy stuff happens here. That was Mark from Pupali, from Stratasys, from Fiberpunk. Am I missing anything? Yeah, I got them all. Yeah.
For your next guest?
Yes, absolutely. Here,
Do I go up the side or do I go up the back? Yeah.
What in the heck?
There's been a change in plans.
Okay, so
There's not been a change
hi,
in plans.
SJ.
Hi, Joel.
This is SJ, everybody. They are one of the most wonderful humans on this planet. And I'm so thankful. Can I get a side hug?
Yes, you can.
Right behind the engine, the rocket engine, I would imagine.
It is not a rocket. Well, it's
Well,
not a rocket
kinda, it
engine.
looks like it's-
It's actually a scramjet engine.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I missed.
For like supersonics.
Oh, supersonic.
Yeah,
So we're
so-
taking this interview supersonic.
Hypersonics, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So if your viewers look inside of here.
Look
this
inside
is,
here.
This is the as printed surface finish, which is like super
Wait a minute.
smooth.
This is
This is as printed. This is straight out of the
as
printer.
printed.
Yeah.
Normally when we think of metal additive, we don't think of something that actually is smooth like this.
No, we work really hard to get that pretty surface finish.
Well, and you kind of need that too, because if making, for example, a scramjet engine, you need those smooth surfaces on the inside. Like this could function as
this has been tested and
Really?
balanced. Yeah, so it fully works. So this was made in conjunction with Lyft and Lockheed Martin.
Oh, Lyft, I'm not sure, but like Lyft, the driver service?
Lyft is a hypersonics program.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I like, not the car ride, yeah. But Lockheed Martin, very familiar with.
Yes.
Wow.
So they helped design this, and so the angles of the walls, so as air is coming through here at like these super fast speeds, it's bouncing around inside of here, and these walls are angled so that it can slow the air down just enough that they can compress it for the suck, squeeze, bang, blow of the engine.
Suck, squeeze, bang, flow.
Yes,
I
suck,
want that on
squeeze,
a
bang,
t-shirt.
blow. Yeah. And that's how that works. This was printed on a 1 meter tall system. So I said I was going to bring the big print energy, so I brought you a super big print.
Can I hold it?
Yeah, you can hold it. Please be careful of the pointy end.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that is a really pointy end.
It is a really pointy end.
So I'm going to put this down, because when we talk about additive, when we get to, at least in FFF style, a lot of times it's really hard to get a point because of cooling issues and material heat profiles. Now we're talking, this is a bed of powder that you're sintering, correct? So what sort of considerations do you have to take into effect for something like that on a powder bed?
Making sure that number one, you have enough powder to get all the way to the top.
Okay, that's a good thing.
Number two, controlling your cooling and contraction rates. So you want to make sure that if you have something like test bars or other parts on the plate, that you don't, cool too quickly or heat up too much all at once. So it just depends on like what's in the volume of the part, because this part may have other parts printing on the print platform with it as well.
Now,
so you want to make sure you consider those too.
Would the other parts be there just because there are more than one part printing, or are there other parts that print so that it takes longer for certain processes, or like I'm coming from the world of FFF.
Yes.
And I'm trying to think of, sometimes we will print multiple objects, and so things have time to come to the right temperature. Now, in the case of metal, I know it's at higher temperatures because it's got the laser sintering it, but do you have to take that into consideration?
You have to take thermal control into consideration when you're printing in metals, but we don't put parts on there specifically to slow it down.
I see.
So
Thank
we have
you.
other parts on there to help qualify the build. So if Lockheed were to put this into the field, they'd want to make sure that the material that we used was good. But obviously they don't want to cut up their big expensive part, right? So they're going to want to print super tall test bars that also go with this, and then they'll cut up the test bars, do their due diligence, test them, make sure that like all of the material properties are what they're expecting before they put it into testing.
I see. So those test bars, because they're made at the same time, it's easy to qualify this part from the test bars.
Correct.
It's so tall, SJ.
Yes, it is. It's super impressive. I would love to see it fire, but I also would want to be at a very far distance, given the forces that it's built for.
But that's just what people need to realize. Like this, without one that's printed at full, it's a workable engine.
It's a workable part. Do you want to see the next one?
Oh, is there more?
There's more. I've got more.
Yes.
Can I have the turbo pump, please?
Can I take this one down?
Yeah. Please get the pointy object away from Joel.
It's really for the best.
God, it's so cool.
He is the internet's treasure.
Okay, we don't. I didn't have on my bingo card today being impaled, and I'm really glad that that's off, because there was always that chance.
I always have impaled on my bingo card
Really?
working in 3D printing.
Well,
always got to keep that one eye
I have
open.
burned, but not impaled.
Yeah. So
See, you work with
the metal side?
Yeah.
Yeah, a support could go flying. I'm just kidding. We are always using PPE, always. So this is a turbo pump.
Oh.
Shout out to the guys at the CU Sounding Lab, Patrick and Zach, and also shout out to the Bello guys, Sid and Gene, if you're watching, because you helped make this part come to life for us.
A turbo pump. So
this is
I
a
understand
turbo
how a turbo works in like a car.
Not the same.
Okay,
Not
thank
even
you.
remotely the same. So you recently saw that Prusa dropped their latest printer, and then it came with like this huge rocket nozzle.
Yeah, I
model.
printed it, yeah.
Everybody's been super excited about it, right? So that rocket nozzle, the bottom bell-shaped part, in rocketry we can manufacture those like a dime a dozen. They're really easy to get, they're really easy to make. Almost everybody uses roughly the same size. Where the real intelligence comes from and where the real bang for your buck comes from, between 50 and 90% of the overall cost of the rocket engine is in the turbo pump, because it's the beating heart of the rocket engines.
Oh, that's what makes
Correct.
it go.
That's what makes it go.
Got it.
Without
Okay.
this, it's just a giant flamethrower going out of a nozzle.
Oh, and the turbo pump makes it
Correct.
go.
So the
I
turbo
see.
pump controls the fuel and the fuel rate and the flow rates of all the fuel as it's mixing. So
Okay.
it has 3 main components. It's got 2 inlets on the top and the bottom. You'll normally have like 1 fuel coming in through here, 1 fuel coming in through here. It's got the housing, which is the outer part that holds it all kind of together. And then it's got bearings typically that are like inside, because you have a spinning shaft here, which is the center part that does actually spin.
Hey, it spins.
Yeah, shout out to Dan who got it to spin. So it does actually spin. So this is the rotor. These are like an impeller inducer combo, which we can do with 3D printing, but you can't do any other way.
Oh,
Super impressive.
that looks cool.
I
Well,
know.
want to make sure
Yeah,
everybody
make sure
can see
everybody
it.
can
There,
see it.
there
Can
we
we
go.
zoom in a
Here,
little?
come over here just a little bit. I want to make sure they see you too.
Yeah.
Hi, Mickey.
Hello. That's it.
Oh, hi.
I'm gonna leave you to it. Hi guys.
I was all excited. I was like,
That was
oh,
just
we have an
that was just a random Mikolaj. That's cool. I didn't have that on my bingo card either. We didn't get burned or stabbed, but we did get a random Mickey.
Correct. So yeah, okay, it's cool. So we've got like inducers, we've got diffusers, and we've got turbines as well. So all of it is, we can print this entire assembly in 3 days on a Sapphire XC.
This is all, so the parts themselves, then you assemble it.
Correct.
Obviously, but this is really cool. So this printed.
Correct.
And normally we would talk about something that has to be what, forged?
Yes, and machined.
And machined,
So
okay.
the challenging part is when you're testing rockets, you have to test them very thoroughly. Like that's why you
I
see all
would
the
imagine.
hot fire testing, right?
Yeah.
You want to make sure that it doesn't blow up. But when they do blow up, it's because they haven't balanced these properly. So you've got different pressures inside the turbo pump. As these spin and fuel is going through it, the fuel gets faster and it creates pressure and it's moving the fuel through the turbo pump and then out the sides. And then it flows into the rocket. And then you can control those feed rates by controlling how fast you're spinning this center thingy.
Oh, that's how it's controlled.
That's how it's controlled. So
I
the
see.
spinny part controls how the fuel is like flowing through and flowing out, and how you're throttling up and throttling down. And so this is spinning, and then you have this housing on the outside. The housing is there to make sure the spinny part doesn't fall apart when you have all this incompressible fluid that's like pushing and trying to get out.
And the pressures are crazy inside
The pressures
this.
in this are insane, absolutely insane. So you have to have a really strong and robust housing, which is why like 3D printing is great, because we can make these housings with unique bespoke materials if we want to, so that they can be stronger, to take advantage of that, yeah. So it's really insane. And then, so you've got the outside trying to hold it all together, the inside spinning really fast, and it's like rattling around, and you want to make sure that like the forces
Well, hopefully
of
not rattling too much, right?
No, so you want to make sure that the forces of the spinning and the outside have a way to translate that motion and that kinetic energy. So you've got to also, calculate your bearing loads. So there are bearings inside that help with all of that friction, and they're like, that's a whole career, just designing the bearing loads for these turbo pumps.
I would imagine. Well, so wait, the bearings on the inside with all the pressure and the heat.
Correct, and you can't use grease, so you have to use a ball bearing, because at cryogenic temperatures, grease is not, it's not gonna flow. So all of this is going on.
Wait, because that cryogenic. So there's,
Cryogenics.
because you have to pump cooling through this too.
Correct. So you've got huge tanks on the rocket pumping fuel really quickly through here, and this is trying to pump the fuel and make it oxygen rich as it's feeding it into the rocket. So like a lot is going on in this very tiny space on top of the rocket engine.
How did they come up with that?
A lot of testing. They've been doing this since like the 60s.
I was just gonna say, that's
yeah,
so crazy.
and they've found that the real key to success is how you navigate the insides. So the insides here that we can achieve, these shapes that you see, you can't get these with conventional machining. You can get them with 3D printing though.
Oh, so the future of rocketry is absolutely tied to additive.
Tied to additive.
Oh,
so you've
wow.
you've got to get your flow paths like this so that you can better sync your bearing loads, so that you can have a rocket that's not going to fail on you the most critical moment. So you can get a more efficient, cheaper rocket with 3D printing than you
Faster
can.
too.
Faster, yeah.
Because you said like
more
3
than
days
twice as
gets it.
fast, yeah.
Oh, that's cool. And really, that's kind of where we have to be in the future.
Yep.
To get more rockets done faster, cheaper, so that more travel can. Velo's going to power the space race.
I mean, we are, but yeah.
Did you ever think, getting into additive, that you would learn so much about rocketry?
No, I honestly did not.
Are you happy that you did? Because it seems cool.
It's really cool. It's never boring. Getting to visit like all the new space customers and like seeing all their factories and seeing like literal rockets being wheeled out onto like the launch pads and things is like, okay. This was on my computer 6 months ago, so.
We got about 6 minutes left.
6 minutes and more parts.
Oh, yeah, we got one
okay.
more part.
We got parts.
So now we're going to talk about the hard part.
Here you go. Here, come around this way. I'll give that to you.
Joel, these are deceptively heavy.
Really?
Yeah. Watch your hands. This is a sharp little lip right there. Yeah. So I saved.
I am careful.
So I saved the hardest part for last.
Wait. Well, okay. Hold on. SJ said these are deceptively heavy, and I'm like, sure, I get it. Like, that'll hurt.
Correct. If you drop it on your foot, it would hurt a lot.
Wow. What are these?
So these are flow control valves for fuel, and typically when they're made, they take like plates that have like little cuts out of them, and then they stack them, hundreds on top of each other, and then like press them down really tight together to try and make them. And then you can get a lot of errors with that. So like 3D printing saves a ton of time when you're making parts like this. But this part is really special because it was part of a test that we did globally to test our CM network. So we wanted to make sure that if
CM network, which is what?
Contract manufacturing network.
Got it,
So there are a bunch of machine shops that have our printers. If you want to order a part, you just go to the contract manufacturing network on our website, and you can get in contact with one of those machine shops. But yeah, so we put them in different parts of the world with different printers, all the same material, the same build file, and then we clicked print, and then we wanted to see the variability, because you know that like there's an adage that no two printers are the same.
Sure.
But Velo has a super high like quality assurance program that we run in between every single layer, and we wanted to see how good it was globally.
How good was it globally?
It was really, really good, Joel. It was really good.
Yes.
And
That's great to hear.
Yes.
That's great to hear.
And you can see it in the consistency between the two prints and the way the holes are shaped. So it was a huge success for us, and we were really excited because it just confirmed that, you know, we believe through our quality system that, like, yes, you're going to get the same part no matter what printer, as long as it's the same build file, because we put that much work into our quality. Like, we go that extra mile, but then having the data and the parts to back it up was also really good.
Yeah.
So
this is cool, and I love hearing that, because a lot of time, well, there are times when companies are able to do something, even bespoke parts, but it comes from like a single machine or a couple of machines, and they're able to get these custom parts. You did a custom part to a global network of your machines, and things came back exceptional.
Yes, which is going to be super
That's
critical.
huge.
Yes, so these were oil and gas industry, which is huge because that's all over the world, right? So if you need a part in India or you need a part in Mexico, whichever CM network supplier is closest, we can now fill that supply chain gap and get you the part super quick.
That's cool. Well, part of the supply chain problem is the shipping and the transportation of parts from A to B.
Yep.
And so if you can reduce that to nothing, almost in cases, like you've eliminated that bottleneck.
Yep. So this was probably like one of my favorite parts that we were able to, release a case study on this year. Probably the most difficult one that's like constantly overlooked because it's a true like technical like chef's kiss. But yeah, that's pretty much all the parts that I've got for you.
But this is cool. What's your favorite part that you've been able to show? Not necessarily one today, but
Oh, that I've been able to show.
Like what's the thing that has geeked you out the most?
The turbo pump components are pretty awesome.
Yeah?
So they're all printed kind of separate. We've assembled them all together so you can see what it looks like in a full assembly. Because then when I print them, I just get small, like a volute, or I'll get like a little impeller, and it's like a little spinny thing. And I'll walk around the shop spinning it on my finger, like,
because that's what you do.
Yeah, because this is cool. It's the fastest way to transport it from A to B before it goes out to heat treatment. But you very rarely get to see it actually all assembled in person. And then getting to see it tested is also really wild and crazy.
That's, well, especially with the rocketry, spaceship, space travel stuff. I mean, you get to see all that. What has blown your mind the most in that?
Relativity just launched a 3D printed rocket, so that was pretty mind blowing. I was standing on the ground and I was like, just staring at it, like, please, please make it up. And when it did, I was like.
Oh, lots of people were just
a lot of people,
over the moon.
It stopped everything in 3D printing. Everyone stopped their jobs. Everyone stopped working. There were no meetings scheduled or allowed to be scheduled for that launch. And it was just amazing to see like the success of the Relativity team go as far as they did on the first launch. Because it's really hard to do what they did and the timing that they did it. So that was just like
But they did it. That's
They did it.
Oh, that was so
They
cool.
did it. They got it off the launch pad. So it's great when we see those kinds of victories and those kinds of things for us.
I'm so glad you came by.
I'm so glad
All
you
the
had
parts
me.
that you bring are amazing.
Thank you.
All of them, and
They're
just
also
like
super heavy.
they're super heavy. Yeah, it's fun. So consumer shows, people have their Prussias or their bamboos or their whatever, and they're printing things, and they weigh nothing.
Yeah.
We come to an industrial show, and it's like, Massivit was just before you. Look at this motorcycle, and here's you. Look at this scramjet engine. It's
Correct. You all can't see it, but my associates had to bring like a wagon to wheel all the parts over here for
it's
me.
a garden cart.
It
Like
is.
that's what I would put my pots, some soil, and a trowel to plant some
It's how we
flowers.
transport the parts all around the shows.
You
for all
have
of
to
these
though.
things. Correct.
You have to.
You might throw your back out trying to carry these things around. That's why we always emphasize PPE and like using carts
sense.
wherever we can.
I'm surprised you didn't 3D print a cart. It'd
You
be
gotta
cool
print
if you
where
did.
it makes sense, Joel.
Well, I mean, if you add a scramjet engine to the cart,
Oh, and then just like rocket and blast through
just
the,
hit a few
the
buttons
aisles.
and then it'll come down. Yeah.
Let me get my turbo pump hooked up to the back of the cart and we'll go for a ride.
I don't know if Ella would be invited back. That's the problem.
It's only 6,000 pounds of thrust.
That's it. Yeah.
Also, oh man, I forgot to tell you that little turbo pump was called the Reaper.
The Reaper?
Yeah, the team that designed it, they named it after jalapenos, and they thought that one was a spicy pepper. And I was like,
Aw.
I know, right?
That's a great way to name things.
But yeah, the New Space guys, they definitely have a lot of personality, and I love it when they like let that shine through.
If there's ever a chance where I can come by and see a test of something really cool, don't you ever hesitate. Ever.
I will see if we can get you clearance.
One day. Oh yeah, I will. I'll sign a paper. I'll give blood. I'll tie my hands behind my. I don't care. Like I want.
Sign me your firstborn.
You can have her. It's fine. SJ, I know we got a lot to do here, and I know you got a lot of stuff to show off at the booth. I just thank you so very much.
Thank you so
for
much
coming
for
by
having us.
and bringing rad parts. Here, David, you want to help with some
Yeah.
parts there? It's deceptively heavy.
Dan.
Oh my God.
I can't toss it to you. It's not a hot potato. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, we're wrapped up. Yeah. Yeah, thank you, SJ. That was SJ, everybody.
What?
That was amazing. Oh man, metal additive. It's so cool. Oh my goodness. What are you doing here, Jason?
How's it going?
Look at this guy. A-Mug
man.
Dinosaur, Jason Lopes.
The man.
What's going on?
Man, I'm happy to see you here again.
I'm happy to see you.
Yeah.
We try to connect. I think we've tried to connect like 8 different ways.
We're going to make it happen.
But now we're at the same show. It makes sense.
Absolutely.
It makes sense. We're at the same show.
But yeah, I'm glad you're giving the audience what they're not here to see. It's pretty cool coming from you, especially.
It's a lot of fun here,
Yeah.
showing off really cool stuff.
You just saw some really
People
cool
love.
stuff
Oh,
from Velo
oh
and-
man, a scramjet engine. What the heck?
Super cool. Well, awesome as always.
Yeah, dude, up top. Ooh.
Absolutely. I'll see you around the
crisp.
show.
Yeah, we'll see you around the show. What do you want? You want that? There it is.
All right. Bye, guys.
It's Jason Lopes. It's live. What the heck? Hi, Renette. Dustin, do you have a tissue? David, do you have a tissue?
Do I have a tissue? No.
A tissue?
No. This is who needs
Me.
gaffer's tape. Use your sleeve. I have tape.
Okay. That doesn't work. That's not absorbent.
You can totally use that. We're live. We're totally live. This is what we do. Joel is. Did that help?
No, it didn't. There's nothing.
Use the curtain.
I'm not going to use the curtain.
I'm not
I'm
touching
fine.
that.
Well,
You ready for your next guest?
I'm going to delint. Hold on. There we go. Okay.
Have a little water.
Oh yeah, hydrate. It's very important. Yeah, we're getting ready here. This is Mimaki's coming up next, right?
They're ready. They are ready. You ready?
And this is Josh. Okay. I want to make sure. Come on up, Josh. I'm just hydrating. My friend. Oh, you bring me the good stuff.
I'll bring you the good stuff.
So everybody, this, sorry, I just had some Gatorade. This is Josh
Hi.
from Mimaki. Now, the last time my audience saw Mimaki, I believe was talking to Audien at Form Next.
Good job on the name, by the way.
Did I get it?
I think so.
Did I get? I was close.
You got it
I
better than
really
I get it,
tried.
I can tell you that.
remember. I went with him for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's not audio, but
Right.
it's Audien.
Audio.
Something like that. And I remember seeing just these amazing things. We titled the episode 10 Million Colors. It has hundreds of thousands of views. It's stuff that people are really, really interested. And you bring me this.
Yeah.
Dustin, can you see this? Look at that. Look at look at that. Like, and that's clear.
Yeah.
I have a second, guys. Could we maybe have you guys stand up here a little closer with that, just so we can do that one
As far as I can go, yeah.
Why don't you get up a little closer, because you can't go much further, so.
Oh, well then, how about I bring it right here?
Just be careful.
That's all right.
Now I can lean.
Josh and I are cool, man. We can
Yeah, we are.
lean. We can lean.
We're leaners.
Now, this piece right here. Tell me about it.
So this was printed on the Mimaki 3D UJ553.
3D UJ553.
Yeah, we tend to name things that just flow off the tongue really easily.
Yeah, it did. It rolled.
So this is our largest full-color 3D printer. It has a build area of 20 by 20 by 12 inches. And this was printed using our new Pure Clear, which is what you see on the bottom there.
Okay, I want to see. Wow, look at that. That is stellar.
Thank you, thank you. So we print with cyan, magenta, yellow, black, white, clear, and then a water-soluble support material. So everything that you see here is 100% 3D printed. There's no post-coloring, painting, nothing. That's, other than the loss of the support material, that's how it comes out of the machine.
It's amazing to see, because typically with any sort of colored or painted 3D prints, you have to apply like a gloss coat or a matte coat or something to protect it, but you don't.
You don't. You can, if you want the surface sheen to be different, you can do a coating if you wish to, but it's certainly not required, and most of our customers don't.
Look at, I mean, such tiny details brought in. The little rope on the knapsack here.
So this machine gets down to 22 micron layer thickness.
22.
We can actually, we have a special mode if we're printing objects inside of clear that'll get down to 19 microns as well, but 22 is typically where we're printing things.
Well, you can see through the clear right there. There's a fish. There is a fish right there in the clear. This design is wonderful.
Yeah, so this was designed in Autodesk Mudbox. Mudbox, which is Autodesk's more the creative side, the entertainment side of things.
I see. Well, it's a wonderful model, and it just goes to show you what's possible at this level. Wow. Josh, I'm so happy you brought this.
I'm so glad you enjoyed
like
it.
looking at this. Here's where it really gets interesting. I hope by showcasing this, I'm telling everybody out there the same thing, that just holding this is emotional in a way. Being able to see these details and this color helps this object tell its story.
So what you're touching on there, we've heard so many times from artists that design something digitally, and when they're holding it in their hand, they're saying they never thought that was going to be possible, that they would be able to hold this thing that they designed. And I think that our technology, we're able to faithfully reproduce these great digital designs, and yeah, to have that object, even if you're pitching an idea to an investor, you put it in their hand that they can hold it. It invokes, as you said, it's emotional.
It's emotional. Well, and I love that. At this point, we can have designers and people that build things in 3D that are ultra colored, crazy designs. Just things that couldn't be reproduced any other way.
Right.
And now there's a way to bring them to life and give them that item in the way it's meant to be kind of shared, and that's cool. Going through your booth is always an amazing time because of all the things you see, like the realistic face, all of that.
A lot of people are asking about costs.
Oh, that's actually a really good question. Yeah. So, Josh, for something like this, what would be base costs? Not like something that an artist would sell it for, but but material costs. What are we looking at
Material costs for that, you're probably looking somewhere around $100, $120 material cost.
Oh, for a custom art piece, that's not bad at all for material cost.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, there's machine time, and there's things that go into it.
Yeah, the selling price you're looking at, typically 3 to 4 times that is what people will be.
But if I was an artist and I wanted to commission a piece that fully represented my vision, then I'm looking at this and I'm thinking for custom thousands of dollars. But we're not there. How would someone go about finding a place that had a Mimaki machine? Does Mimaki have dealers on the website or service bureaus or?
We have a couple of service bureaus in the U.S. You can get things through Shapeways is one.
Shapeways. People know Shapeways.
Yeah. We have one partner that we really like to plug, though, Objects Unlimited out of Toronto, Canada.
That's a fantastic name.
It is.
and they do amazing work. Steve Corey at Objects Unlimited, he has 3 of our machines, and he puts out stuff that is just phenomenal. So,
that's so cool. All right, was there? Didn't you have something else?
I think we did.
Brought? I think.
Yeah. Ready?
Yeah.
I mean, this is
amazing. I just looked at it. Just so you know.
the next item up from Mimaki is. It's insane.
It's completely insane 'cause it's printed in one shot. Okay, I'm gonna move this over.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's gonna be under the table.
So I don't know how you want to display
Well,
this.
actually,
but-
I think we'll just
Well,
go just like
there you
that. Dustin, what do you think?
Just gonna widen out a little bit.
This is fully 3D printed body.
The body is fully 3D printed. Same printer. So this was designed by a guy named Olaf Dijel, who is out of University of Auckland in New Zealand.
Oh.
And he has, besides being a kind of rocket scientist, additive manufacturing guy,
You're gonna have to move that closer, Joel, to see the detail.
he
Here, I'll bring it up. Sure.
yeah, he also has a company called Odd Guitars, which you can see right there.
Odd Guitars.
Yeah.
What a fantastic name.
Yeah. So he does a lot of different additive manufacturing.
Hey, Dustin, go a little slower on the pan, just so we can see the detail.
It's amazing. It's fully playable. We've got a video in our booth of one of our regional managers, Lucas Crosley. Shout out to Lucas, who's playing the guitar, shredding on it. It really sounds amazing.
It's beautiful on the inside.
Yeah, yeah. So
It's absolutely stunning.
he's
And
made a few more since then using our new Pure Clear, so it's a solid body. So
Oh.
it's got a lot more strength to it as well. It's
Is
amazing
it
stuff.
heavier?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I would imagine like a lot heavier, right? Jeez. And I can't imagine this being made any other way.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, there really
What do you
isn't.
see inside it, Joel?
I see butterflies and flowers and dragonflies and ladybugs or katydids, whatever they're called, and some leaves. Here, I want to show the back too, just because I love that design. Look at that. Odd Guitars.
Yep.
Odd Guitars. Oh, jeez. Do you play?
I do not.
I don't know. I don't play either. But I can admire this.
Yeah, I can manage the smoke on the water, and that's about it. Can't we all, though?
I can play Guitar Hero.
Yeah, there you go.
That's cool.
Yeah, so
Here,
this is, one of the things that I think is really amazing is the wood grain.
Oh, here.
That just, it looks like mahogany. It looks like.
Oh my gosh. Like I looked at this and I didn't even compute in my head that the wood grain is simulated because it's 3D printed.
Yeah, yeah.
Jeez. So then, what was his name in Odd Guitars?
Olaf Dijak.
Olaf. So then Olaf's design, he had to actually put in the wood grain, like in his design.
Yeah, I think he used. We work a lot with Adobe Substance, so that you can have a lot of textures and things that you design that you can put in and apply. But this one just turned out phenomenal.
So, what would material cost be on something like this?
This one, it's a little bit misleading because the back of it, there's actually a solid block of wood in here that the strings, the bridge is attached to, so we make sure that you get the right tension. I would say that one you're probably, it's got a lot of open space, but you're probably in the $300 range. And I think when we printed this, we were right at about 60 hours for the print.
But now what Olaf sells it for, I don't care, because that's up to him and his artistic vision and what he's selling it for. But I ask because a lot of people out there have these wonderful designs that they want to do, and it's not out of the question if people want to do something bespoke or custom.
Right. Yeah, the amount of hours that he has in the design and the amount of hours that he has in ensuring that the block system for attaching everything, that's where the majority of the cost is for him, or what he's charging for. But yeah, the ability to just take your concept and output it in a photorealistic way is.
And it came out of the machine this way, no post-processing, right?
So just to dissolve the water-soluble support material.
Okay, but that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So we used a company called Post Process. That the entire piece goes into a tank. It soaks. It agitates with a little bit of detergent. The water-soluble support washes away. This one, I think maybe they did do a little bit of a matte spray on that one, if I remember correctly. But yeah, That's
but
basically
I don't know if I would count matte spray as post-processing. No
Agreed.
sanding.
Agreed.
No sanding.
No.
This is as it is. Oh my gosh, this is beautiful. Here, I'll let you hold that for a sec. I'm blown away. I'm absolutely blown away that something like this is possible.
Yeah.
And it's possible not without breaking the bank. Yes, it's a pricier way to do something, but if this is the only way to bring your vision to life, then that's it.
Yeah, if you're going to get a custom guitar made, you're probably going to spend an equal amount of money, but to be able to have one in this level of detail, yeah, you can't get it.
But a custom guitar or any other artistic piece or something that someone has painted or drawn and they want to bring it into the world as a 3D object, and this can reproduce it perfectly.
Yeah, and we've got a big following in the video game world. There's a lot of video games where you can now output from the video game your spaceship or your character or whatever and have it 3D printed on our machines.
You know, it's interesting because when we talk about assets from video games, typically they're low poly. And if you print it with a conventional machine, it's a low-ish poly version of it, and it's not colored or textured because the machine doesn't have the capability to do that.
Right.
And it's that color and texture that lends itself to marrying to the triangles to actually create that look for your eye.
Yeah.
And so you can actually do that with the texture and the color.
Yeah, because we can lay a high resolution texture over a low poly and it's still going to look great.
And it looks great, and then your eyeball sees that detail and says, this looks like what's in the video game.
So this is printed on our large machine. Our smaller machine, the 3D-UJ2207.
Rolls off the tongue.
Right. That one actually has 1200 DPI print heads. So when you're printing something that's really, really small, we can get super, super fine detail in that texture. So if you have a small, like a tabletop character, and it's got a logo on the shirt, which is tiny, at 1200 DPI, we can still hold the detail there.
When we talk about DPI, like 1200 DPI, I think of my laser printer.
Exactly.
At home, and I know Mimaki started with 2D, like
still very big
printing.
in that world.
Is it really?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
but it was that layered 2D that brought about the 3D side of things.
Yeah, the machines that we have started as basically flatbed UV printers, and then we started being able to do texture on it, just printing on top of ink on top of ink on top of ink. And at that point, once you slice an object into layers, they're essentially just a series of 2D prints on top of each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand that, and I find that fascinating. We have a question.
Yeah, we have a question. People asked about material strength.
Oh, that's a good one. So people have asked about the strength of the material, and it's a UV cured material as it goes by layer, and so is there strength in that UV cured material?
Yes. So yeah, an object like this, it has some fairly thin parts. This is probably not a guitar that you would want to take on the road with you, traveling quite a bit. It's going to be somewhat fragile, and I think that's why Olaf has gone to printing with the clear, so he's able to get a solid guitar, which is a lot stronger. Typically for our machines, as we talk about being in the toy space or in the video game space, we're really kind of on the collectible side. We're not on the the user side. So it looks great, but you're putting it on the shelf and you're admiring it. It's not something you're going to give to your kid and have them running across the kitchen floor.
Well, for this, like you said, this is playable.
Oh yeah.
And in the back, what we talked about is a wood block in the back that everything attaches to.
Just behind.
So there's not. This is held in place, but it's not part of the structure.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
But I don't care, because it looks amazing.
There you go. That's what it's all about. And it sounds great.
I bet. Oh, so playing it at your booth, right?
Yep.
We'll have to come by and see that, David. my producer, David, plays guitar, so he's excited to come by and see that. Oh, man, this is cool. Well, Josh, this has been an amazing showcase here. I love that little part down below. Let me grab that. I love that we can go from this part, which was emotional, just looking at it. It tells the story, and it's proper, and I love it, to then this massive guitar body that was 3D printed. Oh man. Well, be careful when you take this back to your booth, please. Do not disturb that. This was a 3D printed guitar, and this was Josh.
Thank you so much.
From Mimaki.
Thanks, everybody.
You're rad, dude. Oh, this was fun.
Thanks.
Yeah, be careful with that.
I'm going to give you that.
Okay.
Be careful with it.
All right, hydrate.
Hydrate.
I got you. I got you. Always got to hydrate. Oh, what time is it? It is. Okay, well, we've got 45 minutes left of the show. I know we've had, what?
2 guests left.
We've got 2 guests left. We've got time left in the show. We've shown a lot. We've shown like a lot. And I'd like to know, type it out in the comments if you're watching, what so far has been the mind-blowing thing that you've seen? Or that has been talked about? Because we've talked about some things that weren't on the show, like Stratasys had that 3D printed part that was on the International Space Station. SJ talked about their favorite part. I think Josh still has the microphone. He just took off, so I guess David went to chase him down. Well, if Josh is saying stuff, I guess you'll hear it. This is going to be fun. Really happy you all were able to join me for this live broadcast from Rapid TCT 2023 here in Chicago. And if someone could warm it up a little bit outside, that'd be nice. It's a little rainy, a little cold. It feels like Seattle. I'd rather have it a little warmer if you could.
All right, so next guest is the SME winner for overall just opening the world for additive, and he'll share a little bit about that. He's from Impossible Optics.
And what's his name?
Jeff is next.
Jeff is next. Okay.
All right, Jeff.
Hey, it's time for our next guest. He's coming. Don't worry about it. He's coming. Oh. 5 minutes. Nero!
All right.
Come on up, Jeff.
Hey, Joel, how are you?
Hey. Good to meet you. So you are from Impossible Objects.
I am from Impossible Objects.
My friend Thor works there.
I know.
He's such a good dude.
Hard act to follow.
It really is. So now, I'm told, you've won something, an award. Is that correct?
It will be announced Thursday.
Okay.
And I'm honored to say that SME is giving me their Industry Achievement Award.
Holy cow! Really?
On Thursday morning. Yep. I think it's at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
And I guess it's just basically being in the industry since 1994 on a lot of different functions. So been doing a lot of things for a long time.
I graduated high school in '94.
Okay, so there you go. I've been in this industry since.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah,
well, congratulations.
Well, thank you.
This is amazing.
No, it's a great honor.
So then, as being someone who's been in the industry a long time, and given a lifetime achievement award, sort of, or what has been some of your favorite things that you've done?
You know, that's a great question, because you know, once you've been doing it for over 3 decades, I have a number of experience, but I'll just share the one last night. I came back from dinner with, so I was, in my prior role, I was at Stratasys in working to use the technology for making production parts for aircraft was a big focus, since I'm a former Boeing guy.
Oh.
And we were working with 2 pieces to this with a supplier down in Wichita, and when I was at Stratasys, I was his champion to say, hey, we're going to go take a bet on this guy to put our equipment into his shop with 1 machine. And then that company now has dozens of machines.
Dozens.
Jeez. But here's the bigger thing. So at the company, Wichita, Kansas, your audience may not know this, is kind of the mecca for aerospace manufacturing for commercial aircraft.
Wichita?
General aviation, like Learjet, Cessna,
really?
or some of the.
I didn't know that. Oh,
so,
I'm from Seattle, so I know Boeing, obviously.
Well, right, but so all the prop planes, all the general aviation business jets, Wichita.
Okay.
So in his conference room, we had 4 competitors from all the general aviation companies saying, hey, we want to use additive. We want to use it to making production parts. They're all sitting elbow to elbow. And we said, here's what you need to do as far as a material spec, a process spec, and a quality document, and gave them the 80% solution so they could take it back into their company and figure out. And they were all there because they saw the value of 3D printing and the value of the materials for their products. All competitors seeing the value in a technology and really wanted to apply it. And that helped grow that guy's business.
I would imagine that helped it a lot.
But that was just to see competitors.
That's really amazing to hear.
You know, it was amazing to see.
I bet.
So.
Okay, well that's cool. But now we have to talk about what's in front of us.
So.
May I?
Absolutely.
So this is what a drone.
Yes, sir.
A drone. This is a quad rotor drone. Got a camera up front. This is what I would typically, this looks like a drone. It's all 3D printed, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it is. Oh, look at that. Even the props?
Yep.
Look at that. Wow.
Isn't it lightweight?
It weighs nothing.
Well, you know, imagine if you have to like carry that around out in the field for hours and hours versus something a lot heavier.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, anytime you can lighten a drone, it makes transportation easier, but also it gives you don't have to use as much power to keep it in the air. Batteries can last longer. There's so many benefits to lightweight drone.
Absolutely.
And because it's impossible objects, this frame is strong.
So what we tell our customers of the technology, it has similar strength to weight ratio as aluminum, 60% lighter than aluminum. So that's why you would want to go with a composite material.
And which composite material is this?
So this is basically carbon fiber PEEK.
Okay.
Which is our strongest material offering that we have from Impossible Objects.
I love it. I used some CF PEEK in some tests I did one time. Thor printed those parts for me, and they were able to. I made this little this bracket that would snap around.
Okay.
Like a little, they called it a frog or something. It would snap around and hold on.
Okay.
So I did that to an eye bolt, and I had some rope to it, and it held me up.
Really?
Whereas the other parts snapped pretty quickly. What I'm wondering though, because Impossible Objects just announced something new. There's CBAM 25.
Yes.
And I read somewhere, I tried reading through, but it sounded like, because the process I remember is having to use a lot of compression and heat to get a part from the machine that you would then sandblast away the parts where the fluid wasn't.
So you remember the process well. It's a 3-step process.
Okay, yes.
So basically you print your fiber sheets with your images on it. Then you take your stack of printed sheets. So that's step 1, print your preforms. Step 2, it goes into basically a heating and pressing operation. So whatever, for like PEEK, we have to take it up to 400 degrees C to it's above its melt point.
Right.
Get above the melt point, and then we can press it under high pressure, typically about 150 PSI. And that causes the material to flow through the fiber sheets to form your parts. So that's the second step. The third and final step is you got this block with one or many parts in it. In order to get your final composite parts out, it goes into a bead blast cabinet with a turntable or a basket. And the fibers snap away pretty easy. They're unfused fibers to leave you with your final parts.
Oh, because then the PEEK infused fibers are held together nicely.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's how the process works. Now, what we just announced today, and what I think, Joe, you're talking about, is our CBAM 25 system. 25 stands for 25 feet per minute. So it's a roll-fed system, leveraging all the know-how out of the 2D printing industry. So basically, we're printing a sheet every 2.2 seconds with an image on it. Yep.
Holy cow, that's fast.
And so it has to be, because if you're going to use an additive process more for cost-sensitive products in the industry, and you want to displace common things like injection molding or other types of traditional manufacturing processes, you got to have productivity.
Yes, throughput is king.
Absolutely, and so that's what this was going after, is getting the throughput.
Well, and this is interesting because it's the throughput with the process that IO has, where it's not carbon fiber bits, it's not strand fiber, it's these carbon fiber sheets that are impregnated between the PEEK, like there's no other part like it. And
that gives you outstanding in-plane properties, which is...
In-plane, meaning what?
Meaning that your strength is all in like XY. Now, because we're bonding the sheets together, the function, what they call out of plane, when you stack it up, how strong is it in your Z-axis?
I see.
So that becomes a function of whatever your material that you're bonding the machines together with.
So if it is PEEK, then there's different numbers for that versus like a
your
nylon.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
2.2 seconds per sheet?
Yes, sir.
Jeez.
And it's all about productivity. And he said one of the things with composite materials in general is that, you know, it's been heavily used in aerospace, heavily used in motorsports, heavily used in other types of industries. But they can pay that higher price points, and they want to leverage the product performance that composites give you. But at
a cost.
But the consumer industries, it's too expensive. So now, hopefully with commodity materials, a fast build process, we can start opening up some of those applications in cost-sensitive markets now.
Oh, so we're talking about there's economic opportunities here with this CBAM 25. Being able to more parts faster could essentially bring the price per part down.
Absolutely.
Ooh. Because these are good parts. Like impossible object parts are some of my favorite, just because of how they're made and the properties that they have. But man,
and so a nice thing with this process too is that, you know, like this propeller blade here, you can fit dozens of those onto a build layout.
Yes, right.
And our new machine, our 25, is basically a page-wide head, piezoelectric head that runs underneath there. It basically prints that very fast, and you can load up your build layout, tightly pack all those parts into it, so you can build a lot of parts quickly.
So is it still doing pressure? It's still doing pressure from above.
Yep.
But how much? So if I wanted a stack of props, how much space or how many sheets would I need in between each one so that they could separate?
Not a lot, but I was going to say for that case, you're probably looking at maybe, you know, 5 sheets.
Oh, the thickness of 5 sheets.
Yep.
So then,
or even can go to a couple sheets, but you know, we have some, depending on the volume and the mass of the parts, we have some kind of some guidelines there.
Oh, and software solves some of that, right?
Yep, some of that, yep.
I've never played with the Impossible Objects software, but is it similar to other softwares I've used where you have a volume and you can load parts into a volume?
Yeah, so we're like using NetFab.
Oh,
yeah. So we're using standard industry software tools out there to do your part nesting.
That's cool. Well, that's really cool because people know how to use that software already, and so
absolutely,
if a house has Impossible Objects machines and someone has experience in that already, they can use that machine with less training.
Standard tools used in the industry,
oh,
right?
I love that.
Right?
A lot of things that I preach are that people, like kids, adults or grandparents or whomever, in STEAM classes, shop class, in their garage, they're tinkering with Ender 3s and they're trying to build things and change things and modify things. All of that experience is starting to translate more and more to the industrial sector. People that know how to operate an Ender 3 can come into many companies, Impossible Objects included, using standard tools and be up and running much faster.
I completely agree. And I think that other industries that are starting to use this technology for their businesses, that's what I think is interesting about the industry in general is the younger people that have these skills and don't have all these constraints in their thinking, like, no, you can't do this for this reason, that reason, and that reason. They come in and basically can be productive day one, certainly with their design skills.
Yeah.
And their skills on running different additive processes translates. It's just a matter of learning the different nuances with the other systems to really open up and start doing some new product designs and new application.
I love that because one of the things that has come out when the iPhones came out, you could hand an iPhone to a very young child and they just naturally knew the unlock.
Yep.
And so I think we're finding that we have these kids coming into the industry just without these restrictions that you talk about, and they just kind of take to it because they're like, of course I would do it this way. Why wouldn't I do it this way? I like talking to you. You've been here for a while. You've been around this, and so how has it been seeing additive grow? Like looking at Rapid TCT 2023 here, it's an amazing show. There's stuff here that wouldn't be possible 12 months ago, 24 months ago. How is this to you, someone who's been here for so long?
Well, what I can say is, your audience can't see this, but over to our left here is the timeline of when the Additive Conference started back in like 1988. and I started in 1994, but you know, I think where we're at today, when you start looking at computing power, you start looking at design optimization tools, you start looking at the various types of new additive process that's come about in the last 5 years alone. You start looking at post-processing equipment, figuring out, you know, what's these parts come out of the machines. There's still work that needs to be done. The automation that's going on there. All good stuff, and then looking at all the different new materials coming on the market to open up all these different needs. Just a vast growth on all those fronts, but I think the bigger thing is, to your point earlier, what's going to continue to power this, it's the younger mindset. I mean, the younger mindset, basically, to your point, picking up that iPhone and swiping it, they're doing everything digital. and you know, I deal with a lot of government agencies, and they talk about digital threads. Everything's digital. Well, that's all the young generation knows.
That's all they know. That's all they know.
Is the whole digital world. Design it digitally, send the file to a machine, build a product. Now you got that whole digital record from design, how it built in the machine, and then any downstream stuff you want to do to it, that can all be digital too. So you have a whole complete digital record.
That's an interesting way to think about it, because something like this, if I was to create something like this, but you know, a few years ago, I would have to do design. There would be some analog process that I would have to start with to take it to digital. But now more than ever, we can create a drone 100% digitally the entire way through.
Yeah, absolutely. And in this case of this drone here, to this point, to tell you the power of digital, which you know, and your audience likely knows.
They probably know.
Is like, let's just say that with these propellers, it's going to give you a certain airspeed. Okay?
Right.
So say, hey, I want this to be really quiet. I want to have low noise emission. I have a different propeller. I build this propeller, take off these propellers, put on the different propeller. Now you've reconfigured your drone for a different mission type.
Does this work?
Yeah.
And it's quiet?
Well, there's different propellers. So you want airspeed, you want low noise emission, do you want higher altitudes or more payload? It's all driven by what kind of parts you want to put on it. And so now you've got your baseline drone design here, but now if you want to go out and say, I'm going to do propeller 2 or propeller 3 design, and build that all as a kit in this process. So now you have sets of propellers on the build layout that you can have basically a dual configuration air vehicle.
That's cool. Well, and talking to the digital aspect of things, the propeller can be designed digitally, but also simulated virtually. And you can, that blows my mind. That sort of stuff is just amazing. Like the generative part design, when you have like for a shelf bracket, you know it's against this wall, and it's got to hold a bar here, and this is all of your part. This is your block you can work with. Now just take it apart and simulate
and you get
the load.
These organic shape designs that are equal to or better than the typical traditional designs that we're used to seeing that are typically machined, right?
They're typically machined, but then these parts can't be machined, and they use less material, and they support more weight.
Yep.
I love that we're... Okay. I'm really thankful to have you on my stage.
Well, thank you. Thanks
because,
for having me.
Talking with people, they're knowledgeable about industry, about product, about materials, stuff like that. But you've been around for a while, and you've seen lots of stuff.
Good fortune, throughout my career to do that. And you know, I've had good fortune to work in 43 countries worldwide.
43?
And go into a lot of companies, large and small. And I'll tell you what, there's a lot of innovation out there worldwide.
Oh, I bet.
With a variety of different technologies.
And you're not stopping anytime soon, are you?
I hope not. I'm enjoying it. And it's a fun industry, it truly is.
Well, how about this? Let's set a date. Let's set a date for Rapid TCT next year. And if you're here and I'm here, let's catch up.
You got a deal. Thank you, Joel.
It's so good to meet you. Thanks for the chat.
Yeah,
this was awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
This was Jeff from Impossible Objects showing amazing things.
Thank you, sir.
Have a good day. Guest coming up.
Oh, final guest. Ooh. Oh, hydrate. Thank you. Hydrate. Yes. Yes. Ah.
You want your Starbucks override?
My what?
Starbucks?
No. I'm going to be okay with that. I've got my Gatorade. Electrolytes. It's what plants crave. Did you get the mic? Okay. Hey, thank you. Stuff like that always really just gives me energy because this is someone who's been in the additive industry, 3D printing since 1994, back when things were black and white, right? It's funny. I graduated high school in 94, but he's been here and he's still excited. 30 years later, nearly 30 years later, he's still excited about the opportunities and the innovations that are happening. And you heard him, the joy in his voice, talking about stuff like that. That's where I want to be. I want to be that excited. I want to be that proud of the innovation. I just want to scream it from the mountaintops. That's what drives me. That's fun. Hi.
So I'm just going to put this here because we have 3 guests for our
Okay.
next one.
Oh, and I see you muted it.
Yeah, it is muted. Fancy like that. So they're just going to hand this
Okay.
down here.
Sure.
Are you ready?
Yes. Oh. So next up, we've got 3 people. 3 students. 3 students that won an amazing award, and they're going to tell us all about it, right?
Yep.
Okay, well, here we go. So, oh, you guys are on this side of me. Sorry, this side of me. Don't worry, Dustin with the camera will be able to see you all. So I have 1 microphone, and so you might have to share it. So just kind of bring it right here when you're talking. There we go. Okay, so first, take that. You can take that.
Okay.
Or you can leave it on the table, doesn't matter.
Okay.
Oh, there's parts. Okay, good. Okay, so first of all, hi everybody.
Hi,
Hi.
Joel.
What's your name?
Nice to be here. I'm Daniel.
Uh-oh.
I need the microphone. I'm Daniel.
Hi, Daniel. I'm Joel.
Yeah, we're all from Virginia Tech. So,
Okay.
PhD students.
Oh.
PhD students, the macromolecular science engineering program.
The what engineering?
Macromolecular science.
Macromolecular. That's a fun word.
Basically, it's polymer science and engineering.
Oh, okay.
But very interdisciplinary program.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And what's your name?
My name is Yi Chun Fu.
How would I say that?
Yi Chun.
Yi Tree?
Yep, Yi Chun. If you spell that correctly, I'll give you this part.
I've seen the name and I still don't know if I could spell it.
Yeah.
It is not muted.
Okay.
I'm told you guys have to hold it a little bit closer when you
How about
talk.
this? Are we good, David?
There we go.
Awesome. Cool.
It's good to meet you. And,
Nice to meet you.
And what is your name?
My name is Michelle Pomato.
Hi, Michelle.
I'm a 4th-year student in macro. We're all in different departments and housed under different professors, but we're in the macro program, which is very interdisciplinary. And so the only reason this product even came to light is because we all are friends through this program. We don't work even in the same building.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay. Okay. I'm told you guys to hold it here. Oh, it's okay. It's live, and this is the only solution we have. So you'll hold it like, just
We insisted.
Just pretend. Just pretend it's a tiny little microphone, and you can hold it just like that. Okay. So first, who is going to tell me about this?
Okay, I'll start.
You start. Okay.
So this year we won the Digital Manufacturing Challenge, and it's for graduate student sections. This year the challenge is.
Can I take it out?
Yeah, sure. This year the challenge is all about to help people like who suffered from natural disaster or man-made disasters, basically like homeless, and that's a huge background of it. And the main detail about this product, I'll let Michelle to do the introduction on the thing.
Let me see. Do I need to get a little closer?
Yeah, so essentially I'm a materials person, and so we kind of came up with this idea of utilizing a new material called an ion, well it's not new, but new to AM, an ionomer. So an ionomer is an ion-containing polymer, and essentially they're utilized in like membrane, like water filtration.
An ion-containing polymer.
Yeah, so
Okay.
a charge, you know, you can take it out.
Okay. Sorry,
That's way worse.
I'm sorry. So my microphone fell out. So I'm gonna do that with you guys too. Here we go.
Cool.
An ion-containing polymer.
Yeah, so essentially it has a charge on its backbone, and you can engineer that, and undergoes this really interesting thing, phase separation. And so you can have, your backbone has some hydrophobic and hydrophilic domains, and they phase separate.
Joel, can you, for some reason, we're having issues with that mic? It's not your fault, it's the mic. Joel,
Okay.
can you use that mic? Oh, there we go. So much better.
Oh.
Oh.
We good? Should I repeat anything, or are we okay?
It wasn't, the mute button wasn't clicked over all the way. I apologize.
Sorry, so ion containing, so you put a charge on there, do some chemistry, and then there's phase separation that happens. And so it will create these micro channels essentially, so water can pass through quickly, but it'll separate out larger particles, so like dirt and whatnot.
Oh, so it essentially, this ion containing polymer can filter the water.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and so our part has macro channels, and then also all the way down to the polymer, the ionomer level micro channels, and so
The
it filters.
ionomer.
Yeah, it's a cool word, right?
There's a lot of cool words here, and I hope I'm not asking stupid questions.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the material side that I kind of focus on. My advisor has been in the ionomer space for like 40 plus years, so that's our.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I guess we can, if we want to talk about the rheology, which is Daniel's expertise.
Okay, sure.
So yes, as Michelle said, it's known material but not really used in AM. And we had this problem of how can we make a filter something that if there's a crisis, we can quickly address that. How we can use AM to print filters. So we thought about using a multi-material filter, for example, FFF, so we can print the outer case, which would be this part here, and print a filter using different materials.
This is the case. This is the
exactly.
custom
They're
filter inside.
They're not as this is enlarged, so it's easier to see, so it doesn't exactly fit in. But
And the outside would just be like and the outside would just be like a PT. So the inner part is reusable, rechangeable.
Yeah.
I see. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we had all these requirements. We want to have something inside that can filter water. We want to have something outside that will not let water leave or contaminants go in. But not only that, but because it's a new material in the AM field, we want to understand how we can print these materials, right? So we did a whole bunch of characterizations to make sure we didn't have a lot of the material available to do testing. So
is it expensive material?
It is an expensive material at this point. But it was like, can we use rheology and characterize how this material is going to flow when we heat it up, when we melt this material? Can we do mechanical characterization to understand if this material is going to buckle the filament when you're trying to force it through the nozzle? So we did a bunch of characterizations to make sure that whatever we would try to print would work, because we did not have a lot of material. And we actually showed that we can print these materials. We make some filament with that. It was not easy, but we were able to get some filament.
So how does this material usually come?
We had it in pellet form. So we had small pellets, like a couple millimeters.
Okay, so small pellets. So you just had to make filament from it. I mean, you had to melt it and extrude it at a certain.
Exactly.
I see.
If we were
Which
to
is
use,
difficult if you don't know the material.
It is, yes. If we were to use a pellet printer, for example, some of my research in my PhD involves using pellet printers. We wouldn't need to make the filament, which is much easier.
It could be, it could make things a little bit easier.
But we wanted to do that with FFF, so we made the filament and we were able to print this material. So it worked, all the characterization we did, we were able to confirm that we would print, and it did print. So
that's cool. And
it's awesome.
And so this stuff here, you've won, is it an award, is that right?
Yes, it's a digital manufacturing challenge.
Okay, so then there was a challenge for students to come up with a solution.
Yes.
And you three won.
Yes, exactly. So
that's top, man. I'm just gonna give them out right now, because that's what we're doing.
Yeah, it was crazy, especially as like a chemist. I was like, I have a chemistry background, so I never thought in a million years I'd win an additive manufacturing award. So that was pretty cool.
It is neat to see how chemistry plays its role within the additive process, though.
And that's the
very
beauty.
important.
That's the beauty of interdisciplinary. So Michelle is for chemistry, Daniel is for material science, and for me, I'm a chemical engineer. Like we do design, we do simulation, because this is basically like a cap on the plastic bottle. You can easily screw it on the bottle.
In the final design.
In the final design.
Oh, no, so the final design, this 3D printable filter and housing, you could put it on a bottle, and so
Yes.
in places like a natural disaster happens, you can
Yep.
scoop up water, put this cap on, and
Drink
filter
clean
it.
water from it. That's
That's
really simple and
cool.
practical.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
very practical.
Yep, it's cheap. Yep.
Is it small?
Well, it's cheap-ish,
Yep.
right?
Cheap-ish. But still, there's a lot of things we could to study about it.
Just so it's again something black.
Oh.
It's getting lost from the table.
Okay.
So I'm just putting a couple strips of gaff tape down.
See, we got things. We
Yeah.
solve problems. That's what
Engineer.
we do. That's right.
On the fly. Yeah.
On the fly engineering. You
Yeah.
guys practice this all the time, right?
All the time.
Always. Yep.
Perfect.
And there's a lot of like design things into it. As you can see, there's a like field-driven lattice design for the filter.
And you said you've done simulations, is that
Yes.
right? So then you take the designs and then you run simulations to find out if they will filter out those larger
Yes.
particulates properly.
Yes.
And then once you're done with the simulation, is that when you then 3D print
Correct.
and try it out?
Correct.
Wow.
Yep.
So it looks like this is resin printing. It looks
Yes,
like.
it's a prototype.
Okay.
It's a prototype. Yeah,
You guys
but
getting
it's
a lot
show.
of love from the audience in the comments right now.
That's
Yay!
Thank you all.
Sweet.
Go hockey.
Yeah, go Hokies.
Yep.
Oh, that's sweet.
So then what was it about these designs and your work that everybody did that won the challenge? What was it that was better than everybody else's that entered the challenge?
So I think the first thing is it's really simple and practical design. Just screw it on easily attached to any plastic bottle. That's the first thing. And we have this really new materials.
Yeah, I think the material is a huge part of the design. So that's a new thing. There has been in the literature, some people have printed ionomers, like made it into filaments, but it's not like easily available. It's not easy to do. And so utilizing material science itself, like knowing that this material phase separates, and we know, my lab, our expertise, we know how to control phase separation and tailor that property. And so I think that was obviously a huge part of it too, as well as
Well, I think it's interesting because if I were to print these shapes at home with standard PLA or ABS or PET, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. It has to do with the ions embedded within the polymer that actually then help attract those particulates within the water to filter it out, right?
Exactly, because you would be able to filter the larger particles, right? But if you have bacteria or virus or anything in there, yeah, you wouldn't be able to remove it if it's just a regular polymer. So that's the thing that is really special about this, is just having all this knowledge from different areas and combining everything to be able to print a part with a special material, and then thinking about the design and simulation and just like combining everything to be able to come up with this project.
I love hearing that. Well, I think it's interesting too because you guys came up with an idea for a material and then got it to 3D print.
Exactly.
It wasn't like you were 3D printing something from the get-go. You found that additive was the way to go, and you had a material, you just had to find a way to do it.
Exactly.
I think that's cool. So then this polymer and this process, do you see it being adapted into other parts? Like, is this something, like we're talking about disaster relief and 3D printing custom things that people can screw on bottles to get water, clean water fast when it's needed. But I mean, is this destined for industrial pumps and city filtration and stuff like that?
So the material itself, ionomers are utilized in larger scale water filtration devices already. So I think really, but they're as in a membrane form. They're not printed, they're cast. And so it's a completely different process. So I could see potentially if you can optimize the print process and then make sure the ionomer has
the design. Just like thinking about if you compare a membrane and now we have something that has
How
this
does
like
this perform versus
field-driven
a
design,
membrane?
so you can optimize the filtration. So I could see this being used in the future, combining.
So then, does this work better than a membrane?
I don't think we can say.
So we don't have a comparison between membrane and this, because our simulation showed us it has a pretty like 99.99% of the cleaning, like absorption of the chemicals, because we have, remember, we have like more surface area from printing and the micro channels from the ionomer, those fancy materials. And those are really special technology to bring into the water treatment. And also we can do the simulations based on what if there's a crackers because of cracks because of the printing process, like those layer boundaries, what would those gonna impact our final properties, our final performance? So those are really the technology we bring to this product. Those are new things.
I see.
Yeah.
That's really cool though, because I love that you found additive was the way to bring this about.
Yes.
And additive gives you these incredible shapes and these and these filters that perform really, really well.
Yeah.
Whether or not compared to a membrane, I guess it doesn't really matter as much, but you've proven that they work really well, and there's more surface area for the water to pass over, and so it stands like I would believe that if that's enlarged and if that's made bigger and put into more of an industrial housing, like a 1 inch, a 2 inch, a 3 inch line, like it stands a chance to perform at least as good as these membranes that it passes over, if not better, because of the custom processes. Oh, we have a question.
Yeah, are we at a good point?
Yeah.
Sorry, so I'll raise my hand if it's okay.
We have a question from the audience.
I'm just trying to
Oh gosh.
people have asked about how long will the parts last and how much water will it actually filter through the cloud, and is ionization already a thing as a support for those? So 3 random questions.
Well,
the last one?
we've talked. So the last question was: is ionization a thing already, right? And which it is in the membrane.
Yes.
And then someone asked about how long will these pieces last?
We do not know. We haven't done age studies on that, but
So you've tested to show that it works, but you haven't tested for the time in
Yeah.
which it lasts.
yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So we did all of this work in a couple of months. And so, we're all PhD students, so we have other stuff going on too. But, it's a great product, so I'm sure we'll do more with it.
And also just thinking about what was the goal of this challenge was how can you quickly address a crisis, right? So that was our focus. How can we make something fast and deliver it fast to an area that needs it, right? So we didn't look into the long term, how they would just their performance in the long term, but at least for the short term, that's kind of what we focus on right now, at least for this first part. But that's definitely something that we should and we could look at.
Well, but it makes sense, right? Because you had a very specific challenge that you had to perform for, and you've satisfied that challenge.
Exactly.
And so now that challenge has shown that it's a pretty good idea, and so then it's further testing is needed, right?
Exactly. As usual.
I mean, there's a lot of things we can test, like durability, for example, simulations, because currently the way we do the simulation is based on steady state, and we can change that and to see how long it's gonna take for us to replace a new one. And
I see.
Additionally, it's only like that whole part is like 1 hour print, and so it's really
That's
easy
awesome.
to get a new one.
Yeah.
So
Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
Well, this is really cool, and I'm really glad you guys came up to showcase this, because it's not just, I mean, you look at all of these booths at the show, and everybody showcases a different material or a process for additive or cool stuff that they've done. But this is this is one of those things where it's taking it just a step further. And taking a material that you've adapted for 3D printing to then create something for this challenge and to ultimately win.
Yep. That's the beauty of interdisciplinary.
So people working together, that's the way forward, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Well, I just want to thank you guys for being up here. This has been
thanks for having
an
me.
amazing little
Thank
talk.
you very much.
I'm really glad. Anytime. I don't want to
Thank
steal
you
your
for
parts.
like
We'll make
doing
sure.
this showing and telling. It's great.
Oh, it's a
great.
lot of fun. Yeah, we have fun on the show. And
Yeah.
sorry about the mic problems initially,
It's
but
all
we
right.
got it worked out, and
Yeah.
it's live, man.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Awesome.
Are you guys going to explore around the show?
Yes. Of
Oh,
course.
awesome. All right. Well, have a good Rapid.
Yeah. Thank
You too.
Yeah, anytime.
Thank you very much.
Anytime. Here, I'll take that from you, and there we go. I muted it properly. Yeah, grab your stuff there.
Thank you for educating people about 3D printing.
Thanks for doing cool stuff in it. We'll see you again, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Good to meet you. There we have it. Show and telling live from Rapid TCT 2023. Look at that, my mic came out twice. That's how awesome I am. This has been quite an amazing show. We've showcased all sorts of crazy parts. We've showcased amazing people doing wonderful things. We've talked about new stuff. We've talked about old stuff that is now new stuff. It's been amazing. This has been fun. Dustin, behind the camera, how you doing?
I'm loving this.
Yeah?
Let's keep it going.
This was, I don't know, this was fun. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I think there's a lot more Rapid to see. Again, we opened the show, but there's the rest of today, tomorrow, and Thursday. So if you find yourself in Chicago and you can make your way here, there's going to be a lot of stuff to see. And if you find me, I've got a high five for you. Listen, if you made it this far, you're awesome. Don't forget to hug each other more. Fight for a cause you believe in. Rapid all the things. I'm tired. And as always, high five. See you on the next one. See you on the next one. Oh.
And broadcast.